Hello, folks. The Celtic Nerd here, and I'm once again joined by SkullDuggeryTV for another iteration of SideChat. Which, to be honest with you, I've been mulling around a new title for whenever we do any kind of collab.
Right.
And to be honest with you, a part of me is hesitant to pull the trigger because if. Now, again, this is a big if. I'm not saying, like, it's in the cards, folks. But if we ever end up merging our fucking things, I would rather it be saved for fucking that as a title. But, again, here it is. Celtic TV. Crickets. Okay. Anyway. No, I don't know why, but, like, again, like, because of the... We do a English. We do see. We do a fair bit of collaborations. See, that's why I kept getting fucking like weirded out because I was like, do. You know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah.
No, that's not hitting me right. Like, we collaborate a fair bit. There we go.
Yeah,
fuck's sake. My struggles with the English language aside, as you can see, you're watching once again our Alien Fireteam footage. I know it's on repeat. We've been struggling to get some time together to record some new footage of the game because, we in all fairness, we have bigger segments of our individual channels to get through.
And just life gets in the way.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, like in the future, like if we don't have enough footage, I'll just send you my Alien Isolation, Alien Isolation footage for the future, just in case. Contingency.
Okay, folks. Now, this. So this is SideChat. Where we cover our favorite movies / shows. Currently, we've been going through the Xenoverse as... No, I can't say that because I think that's actually the official term, I think, for the Dragon Ball Z verse.
Oh, yeah, there's one called the Xenoverse, Just call it the Alien Verse.
Yeah, the Alien Verse. Or the... what's the creator's name?
Oh, the writer, Dan O'Bannon and some other guy, and I can't remember the co-writer.
But then who's the director? Because like he's often Ridley Scott, who
directed the first film.
Because he's often credited with with the whole Alien stuff.
I really just directed it, but
So Alien Verse.
No, that's not a thing towards you. That's like I don't get why people are just like. The guys that wrote the script wrote it. He just helped. It was just like a union that caught lightning in a bottle. Sorry, I'm getting pressed on semantics. I shouldn't be.
Folks. Fun fact about today's side chat: we're going to be covering Covenant, and I know, but that's not what's interesting. It seems SkullDuggeryTV will be joining me in the sense of not doing notes. He is not going to be reading off notes. He's going to be just going completely off the cuff.
I have to go with memory. Basically, without going into it, technical difficulties required that I take the notes, that I watch the movie on my phone, and I didn't have any other way of taking notes with me at that time while watching the film. And you know what? I'm just going to preface this by saying, to give you an idea of my thoughts on this movie, I'll stop watching it by the time the alien was on board the ship because at that point I knew what was. I already remembered what happened by the end of it. Like it's literally like the last 5 minutes. It's like I know what happens. I couldn't give 3/8 of a fuck. I just want to get this over with.
Yeah, it's definitely not my favorite. And folks, if for anyone who's familiar with our side chat segment, and again, SkullDuggery, you are very familiar with this. I tend to be a very I'll give it a fair shot type of guy. I don't just write shit off. And there's even some troublesome Star Wars things I do give a fair shot. And just recently there was one that I really could not fucking finish. I got to episode 2 and I was like, okay, yeah, no. But when it comes to this one, it's something that I'm not a big fan of. I like where they were sort of going. I feel like they always had potential, but they really screwed up the execution.
Oh, they did.
That's my thoughts. So first off, we start the movie with an interaction between Wayland and David.
Yes, we got our Michael Fassbender back in two roles.
Yeah, and I will say, okay, I want to preference this, folks. None of my complaints are with the actor. Like,
no, yeah, I will.
The man manages to play two very different roles. And fair fucking play to him. He does it brilliantly. Like, the man's a treasure when it comes to acting. Like in terms of modern movies and all that.
I know that the man has range.
Yeah, and I feel like this movie, like, okay, I know you do get to see it in his portrayal of Magneto, because there are some humorous moments, and then there's some very tragic, and then there's some very serious moments. Angry. Like, you do get to see his range in terms of the X-Men movies. But like also, but to see him, but seeing as though you sort of get that with the character, just one character. But in this movie, it's the fact that he's playing two characters that look like, essentially it's basically playing twins. Basically, he's basically playing twins with very different personalities. And
yeah, it's very I know you you probably won't get a reference because I know you don't like the show, but it's very Data lore. If for people that are listening, if you know Star Trek, for context for you, Celtic, the character of Data in Star Trek: The Next Generation, in the first season, it's revealed that he actually had a twin brother that was built before him, and basically, to sum it up, their personalities are exactly Walter and David. Lore being David.
Right. So immediately, Wayland is basking in the creation of probably the most advanced AI that his company has ever created.
I will say, I do like this opening.
Yeah, it does. And again, I will say, it does a great job of establishing why David does what he does. Like, where, like, this is the beginning. Like, this is the true beginning of his journey. Of where, because, like, now technically it's weird that we're getting this in the second fucking movie. But again, I feel the problem is the fact that these movies were intended to be originally a trilogy. And I feel like they were like, okay, we'll do this whole beginning of his origin story in the second movie, because then we'll completely wrap shit up by the third, But again, we never got the third, and given the way the previous two movies were handled, thank fuck.
Yeah,
and I will say, I will say, Romulus is probably the unofficial third movie, but it clearly learned from the mistakes of the previous two.
Yeah, when we get to Romulus, we'll have because we do have some. I have thoughts, but I will say, as far as the kind of somewhat trilogy that is these three films goes, I kind of consider Romulus like kind of Revenge of the Sith, and that it's the best of a bad bunch.
Well, I have a hot take in terms of my Star Wars movie rankings.
Oh, I do, yeah.
And we'll get to that when we finally get to Star Wars. But because we do Lulu's Sport, I do want to put that after we do the Stargate stuff.
Yeah, but we don't want to be too Star Wars out.
We have an interesting interaction. Like, again, Wayland is just he's basking in how advanced David is. He's enjoying the fact that, like, he has all this shit programmed into him, and you know, he's even encouraging the whole father son relationship.
Yeah, it is kind of a, again, it's that same sense of like Prometheus and Zeus when they created humanity, and in this case, Wayland would be Prometheus, and David is his, because in mythology, when it came to the creation of humanity, and Prometheus loved humanity, like he loved his creation, he wanted to see them store. But actually, no, sorry, Wayland would be more like Zeus, because Zeus saw them as, I am better than you, even though he was just as flawed. And in this scene, we kind of see that mirrored, where Wayland, like, they have, I will say, the conversation between the two of them is really good, in which David is during this scene, is basically discovering himself as they talk. And like, he's playing the piano perfectly, he chooses his name.
Oh yeah, and he even chooses the song. And and the first thing Wayland does upon hearing the song is being like, without the rest of the orchestra, it's a pretty hollow song. Like, so he immediately is like, he encourages David to be independent, and then immediately critiques him for his choice.
Like, it's kind of like, it's that whole thing of I'm still your better. Like, you're choosing something, like, I wouldn't have chosen that. I would have chosen something that sounds good with piano. And I believe that the piece is the God's Entry into Valhalla, or something like that.
Which is very apropos. I do want to bring up a fun fact, because you brought up Greek myth. Do you know why we have the term soulmate?
No. Okay.
Did you know in original Greek myth, it was humans actually had double of everything. We had 2 heads, 4 arms, and 4 legs. But we were extremely powerful, and Zeus feared that we were so powerful that he decided to split us up, so that we only had 1 head, 2 arms, 2 legs, and essentially we are always searching for our other half.
This is why I love Greek mythology.
Sorry for getting a bit deep there, folks, but again, like, that's a fact that you don't often get to really draw. But you were talking about the creation of humanity, and I was like, ooh, this is actually the best moment to drop this fun fact.
Honestly, I I think it's the best time. And because that's, again, Covenant, to connect that with Covenant still tries to do what Prometheus did, which was have those themes of like creation, philosophy and religion and creation. I will say I don't want to label it entirely, but there seems to be a little bit of religion bashing in this one. Just slightly, just a smidgen.
I don't really feel that way. Well, actually, there is a certain scene that does feel that way. Actually, I will get to it. But
in terms of Captain Manhattan, anyway.
Yeah. So basically, Wayland. So David asks the big question, like, okay, well, if you created me, who created you? And Wayland basically says, like, that's a question I'm hoping me and you will eventually see the answer to. Then David says something.
He basically just points out that, like, you created me, you're looking for your creator, you'll die, but I'll keep on living. And it's not really outspoken, but David, in a very non-direct way, points out why he is basically better than Wayland in that regard.
Yeah.
He has immortality, Wayland doesn't. You know?
I will serve you, yet you are human. You will die, I will not. And so it's not quite exactly that, but basically, like, I'm immortal, you're not. And immediately Wayne's like, bring me tea, David.
And again, to kind of point, which kind of builds the foundation of what David will be. Like, the tea is literally right next to Wayland, and this is Wayland's way of saying, I'm still better than you. I'm going to make you are my servant. I created you. You're going to do this menial task that I could easily.
And folks,
do myself.
Okay, now I'm gonna try and grab a snippet of the image. Now, bear with me, because unfortunately, Chrome and certain websites do find it a little. Okay, yeah, it's immediately gone blank. Okay, never mind. Okay, so I was gonna try and grab an image of that scene after he, because I love how, now this is where camera angle, like where the photographer, this cinematographer does a great job. They establish the distance that David has to walk to get to the fucking tea.
Oh yeah, it's a massive room.
Yeah, it is a massive room, folks. Like, okay, I'm gonna what I'm looking at right now, I'm gonna start counting, right? And I'll stop when David reaches the T. Now, keep in mind, he is not walking slowly. He's not trying to resist his programming. He is just going to simply walk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hold on,
9,
I think I
10,
found an image
11.
I can send you.
11 seconds, folks. And by the way, he was basically taking a step for every second. So, like, holy fucking shit. Like, the cheek on fucking Wayland. Now, there's not much more to this scene. Immediately after handing over the tea, the scene cuts to black, and we get Alien Covenant showing up on the screen. Again, I am a fan of how they always do these stylized title cards.
Yeah, I will say the Alien title card in and of itself, like from the original 1970s movie, was very unique, and I do appreciate that's kind of the one continuous thing. Well, okay, every movie after Alien did their own thing with it, but Covenant and Prometheus kind of brought it back as Romulus. And I will say, I need to stop saying I will say, I need to find new vocabulary. I would also like to point out that the music in this film, the soundtrack, a lot of it is taken from Jerry Goldsmith's score for Alien.
Yeah.
Like, a good chunk of it is basically just the soundtrack to the first movie.
Yeah. Again, like, see, okay, when it comes to this movie, my only gripe with it is the writing. Like, soundtrack, effects, casting, acting, everything is fucking spot on, except for the goddamn story.
I actually do have an issue with the effects for the aliens.
Okay, fair enough. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. So, immediately after the title card, folks, we're introduced to the colonization vessel Covenant. And you gotta fucking love these like sort of semi-religious fucking ship titles we're sort of getting. We got the Nostradamus for a fucking like
Nostromo.
Yes, I did Nostromo. Oh, okay, the Nostromo. Okay, never mind then. I'm just saying.
Were you thinking Notre Dame?
No, just Nostradamus.
Wasn't he the guy that made all those predictions?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
I was going to say, but like Covenant, that seems like a weird title for a colony ship. Sorry, like for a name for a colony ship, like.
Yeah, actually, hold on, because I have Google open right now. I just want to double check the meaning of Covenant.
Yeah, actually, maybe it makes sense. And I'm just because like when I think Covenant, I think religious.
What? Covenant. An agreement. There was a covenant between them that her name was never to be mentioned. What? I don't know.
Okay, that's a weird for. That's more of an a trade ship or a diplomat ship.
I think honestly, it was just like this. This sounds like a cool enough name. Let's just go with it.
Yeah, Prometheus, I feel like would have been better for a colonization ship. Strangely enough, I feel like Prometheus would have been better as
honestly, yeah, creation.
Yeah,
though I do get Prometheus. I do get that Prometheus was the Greek equivalent of a scientist. So.
Yep. Okay.
But yeah.
So
and anyway, we're introduced to Covenant as well.
Yeah, we get the vessel stats. So we get the date is December 5th, 2104. The cargo. I love how they refer to it as cargo. Like, dear God.
It's like 2,000.
2,000 colonists. Yeah. 1,140 embryos. And like,
oh yeah, they have the embryos. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Destination Orgai 6. ETA 7 years, 4 months.
And so, the crew complement is, I believe, 17, and once again, the same issue with Prometheus.
Yeah, they're purely there for Prometheus. And there's one criminally they have a fucking grade A actor. Okay, this is one of my big issues. like, immediately off the cuff. We're going to get introduced to Walter first, who is the synthetic. He's a next gen model. He is modeled after Wayland, so he has Wayland's appearance, but
No, he's David. He's modeled after David, you mean?
well, but his appearance was modeled after Wayland.
Oh, fair enough.
It's just that he has far restricting programs.
Yeah, again, bringing up the Star Trek reference. If anyone here has watched Star Trek: Next Generation, again, Walter is basically Data. So logical, but with a heart.
Yeah, I will say that, and I will, and the fucking Michael Fassbender, he plays it so fucking well.
Yep. Again, there's. I'm gonna honestly, this is probably gonna be one of. Actually, no. You know what? Danny McBride is also really good in this. He plays the character Tennessee.
Oh yes, yeah. But I have a few issues with his character decisions, not the casting.
No, yeah, I think it's again because Danny McBride usually does comedy, but it's as they always say. If anything, if the Truman Show has proven anything, it's that comedy actors can do drama, and he does a good job of this.
So Walter, our new synthetic, is basically manning the ship while the organics are in hypersleep, or whatever terminology they want to use. I'm just going to say hypersleep.
Yeah,
I think that's from Riddick.
I think so too. Yeah.
Anyway.
I'll have to rewatch Pitch Black.
So he is basically just going to recharge the ship by unfoiling some solar panels. It's more of a solar panels have advanced, so they're more of a fabric type thing. So like an actual sails. It looks. I actually really like this scene. I'm like, okay, the idea of occasionally recharging your ship via this, to charge the hypersleep pods, life support, all that type of stuff, and also whatever other electronics is on the ship.
Yeah. Though I will say, I don't know if they would, because where's the light coming from? Cause I can understand if it's maybe solar radiation that's powering it, but I don't know if it would be.
Well, yeah, I
think space radiation,
Well, I think it is solar radiation because remember that a star gives off a neutrino burst or whatever, and that's what causes the catastrophe that's about to unfold.
Yeah.
So there is a sun
somewhere that they can get energy from. Okay, fair enough.
And also keep in mind, look at our distance from our sun, how far that's traveling.
True, it's 8 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, so solar energy can travel quite a far way. So yeah, Walter's checking up on all the organics. Now, funny enough, it's basically a recreation of. I will say, I will say, I do like this scene. It is basically a recreation of what happens in Prometheus, except Walter is not being a creepy little fucker about it.
Yeah, no, he is doing his job as the synthetic, which is just maintaining the ship.
Yeah, because similar to David, who had Shaw, Walter has another female character that he is ultimately going to bond with very closely. Sorry, come on.
I can't remember the character's
Daniel.
name. I'm just Daniels. Okay, I'm just going to call her not Ripley because I could not give 3/8 of a fuck.
So, but the thing is, whereas David lingered on Shaw and even went as far as to invade her privacy by looking at her dreams, Walter is just puts his fingers on whatever touchscreen shit they have on their sleep pods, checks her vitals, and then moves on to the next person.
Yeah, and he goes around, he's checking the vitals of the colonists, he's checking the status of the embryos. I think we see one or two of them are dead, so he puts them in a biohazard thing,
Yeah. So, Walter is just doing his job. He's not even, again, I feel like this is very done on purpose. We're seeing very two different Michael Fassbender performances, and very different, whereas, again, it gets brought up later in the movie, whereas David was given a lot of, creative freedom and pursuit, and so therefore he kept wanting to expand his knowledge base. Again, what you would expect an AI to do.
Yeah, I think we had agreed during Prometheus that he was basically a fully realized AI.
He's a true AI.
Yeah.
Whereas what I like to use the Mass Effect terminology because like it makes sort of sense to me. So David is AI. Walter is VI. Yes, he has more freedoms than what, like, say, our computers and our electronics can do, but he is still bound within certain programming limits.
Yeah,
So,
he's like again. He does have a clear personality of his own. He
yeah,
again, as the film does show, he does have a very protective nature towards our heroine of the film, uh, Daniels. Did you say
Daniels, yeah.
Daniels? And but yeah, again, he's still in the same way. Like Ash is like a perfect in Alien. Like he's a perfect blend of David and Walter in that
Mm.
he has the personality. He can pass for human, but he's still bound by his
Certain
own
programming.
programming.
Yeah.
Yeah, like by his own the stuff that
So,
his orders and stuff like that.
now, again, I understand that in real life terminology, it's all just AI. Now,
Yeah,
again, that's where, but for me, AI is artificial intelligence, something that can actively learn and will seek out to learn. It has no constraints.
yeah,
What now again, which is normally referred to as true AI, but again,
mm,
like that's whereas VI again, borrowing from Mass Effect, is virtual intelligence, where yes, it has intelligence, it can learn, but there is still there are restrictions in the programming that will restrict it to learning only certain things that its programming allows. And again,
mm,
I feel like I feel like that's a bit of a cleaner term than AI, in my opinion. Anyway,
yeah.
philosophical definitions aside,
Aside,
we have a very like weird casting decision for someone who's going to get killed off immediately.
and this
We,
is where I have yeah
I'm like, what? Okay, folks, I can't remember the actor's name, but
James Franco.
yeah, okay, so James Franco, the man who played fucking Harry Osborn in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, and I know he did other roles, and he's a fantastic actor.
Oh yeah, like he's fucking well established and stuff like that. But yeah,
Yeah,
like he's in this movie for a minute and he doesn't have any dialogue and he just dies.
yeah, I'm like, he does have one line of dialogue, but it's a previous recording
Yeah,
that uh,
and
it's like, what the
this
fuck?
herein lies, and again, this is where like studio you get things like studio interference and like that. Because one of the things I will say that I thought were pretty cool with Covenant, just in particular, was the marketing, where they did really again much like how they did it with Prometheus, where they had things like Meet David and it's Michael Fassbender as David, like, and it's his creation, like, oh, what do you do, David? They had a similar thing where, oh, meet Walter, and then they had uh, a short which you can find on YouTube called The Last Supper, in which the crew of the Covenant are having their last meal before they all go into the freezers and fly off, and James Franco is in this short, and he actually does have a little bit more line of dialogue. And it was the same with David and what he does to the planet. Like, we actually have a short in which it goes over Shaw and David's journey in the engineer ship. And all I can think is these were clearly scenes that were deleted for the film and repurposed as trailers. And they really should not have been deleted.
Yeah, no. And the fact that you would even have to rely on shorts to fill in blank shit is atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's like what someone says about like, and I actually saw this on Instagram today. I actually sort of agree with it now. Like, some people, in terms of like, now this is more particular in DC Comics, in terms of their live action movies. Because a lot of the time, some of them would, some of the people that work on those movies would say, "Okay, you need to read the comics," you know. I know it does happen occasionally with Marvel movies as well, but the thing is, though, a movie you should not need an external source.
To fill in the blanks, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and again,
the
this is
movie should have to stand on its own.
yeah, exactly. And now again, luckily enough, the Marvel movies tend to do that. Now, over time, because of how many of them there were, and again the overarching storylines, they sort of became more like a fucking TV series where you do need to watch previous
Yeah.
movies. But
I think
again,
I think in that regard, I think David Feige kind of put it really well. And keep in mind, this is the man that created the MCU. It feels like homework with
Yeah,
a lot of the more
and
recent stuff now.
and that's why I'm glad that they're doing the whole reset. Like,
Yeah, and but that is the thing. Like as you say, and a lot of I've noticed in the last few years, a lot of games and movies have kind of been doing that. Whereas, like again, like, particularly with comic book movies, where they won't bother explaining, "Oh, this character's detail." There's like, you've read the comics, you know everything. Now, in some cases, that's okay. Like again, Batman, Spider-Man, you know the origin story. It's
yeah,
even
yeah,
people who haven't
you can
read the
take
comics know the
shortcuts
origin, so
there.
you can But like I think the biggest one for me, the biggest offender, for an example, I can't, I might have brought it up before, but because I love Halo. Halo is like one of my
Halo
favorite.
4. Oh no, sorry,
Uh,
not even Halo 4.
Halo. I was
Halo
going to Halo
Worlds.
5.
I was
Halo
thinking Halo
5.
World actually as well.
Oh, Halo Wars.
No,
I
no,
wonder
not
why
Halo
that.
Wars. Halo World. Oh, sorry, no, it's Infinite. Sorry, Halo Infinite.
Infinite, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, Halo
Oh god.
5 in particular had this big issue where the characters and their motivations were so horribly explained in the game. And the excuse of the writer, I think his name was Chuck Wendig, his excuse was, you have to read these books. If you want to know why we're
Oh
here, if
yeah.
you want to know why Cortana's back, if you want to know why the Chief has these motivations, read this trilogy of very horribly written books and a few of
And
these horribly written comics.
hold
And
on,
then you'll be caught up.
hold on. They did the same shit again.
They
Even
didn't.
after, yeah, for Halo
Did they?
Infinite. For Halo Infinite, because
See,
okay,
I've
remember.
only played the multiplayer.
Okay, so hold on. Halo Infinite. Okay, as you know, Halo 5 ends with Cortana becoming the big bad
Yeah.
of now, which leads to a whole potential cool fucking rebellion that the chief could have been leading against the whole fucking AI bullshit. But
Yeah, because wasn't the whole point that they... Oh, no, sorry, Infinite was the one that did that, where they revealed the enemies that are immune to the Flood.
I don't know. I haven't finished Infinite, but again, Infinite was the one that's after Halo 5,
Yeah.
and then. I'm like, oh, I was getting excited. I was like, oh my god, I can't wait for Halo Infinite. We're gonna be fighting Cortana. This is so different. Like, oh my god, because like we're normally have Cortana. We're either fighting for Cortana or she's an ally. I'm like, so I was getting really hyped. It was a big thing. Then apparently years have gone fucking by, and humanity is not having some kind of like rebellion fight with Cortana. Chief has a new AI called Weapon.
Cortana's dead.
Yeah, and the
Again.
whole AI, the rebellion army whatever thing she was leading is just over, and we're back.
Yeah, like it happened off screen. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was explained in books.
And that's again because I know in that regard, like Halo 5, like the critical reception to the story was so bad they kind of felt they had to do a factory reset, but that's still shit. Like it's again execution, and it's like commit. You're gonna finish it, and just make sure it's in.
Yeah, let us finish the goddamn fight.
Yeah, even if it is shit, at least you committed. We can respect you more for that. But this is, and again with Covenant, it's kind of the same thing because I know we're jumping ahead, but like Shaw is killed off screen.
Yeah.
Like we like one of the only other saving graces of Prometheus for me was Numi Rapace, and they just decided, oh, we're not gonna, because again, I brought it up in our Prometheus thing. Like it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna answer questions in the next film, and okay, I get that you wanted to do some course correcting due to the reception, but you could have still answered questions, and you still fucking didn't.
Again, I feel like they were banking on on getting their third movie.
Yeah, and even I even then, like I'm just thinking, like I don't think if even the second movie barely tackles what they were trying to do with what started in Prometheus, I don't really think it would have worked out that well. I think again, that's why I think Romulus did the right thing of just keep it obscure. We don't just keep it fucking obscure. But yeah, they anyway. Yeah, we're introduced to fucking James Franco. He dies in like I will say his death is pretty cool.
Oh, I have issues with his death.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, I'll get into it now. So, all right. So, after he does all his routine checks, a sudden neutrino storm comes out of nowhere, and apparently you can't really predict them. in
No.
advance, because again, when it happens and then by the time it travels to you, so like it's not like you can observe the sun and then be like, okay, it's happening now, we need your course correct.
Yeah.
Like by the time it hits them, like it was already gone from the sun. So they get hit. Shit is going all over the place, like wrong all over the place. Walter immediately is like, initiate emergency crew revival systems. He is going straight to the bridge, clear, and we see him like just blank face putting out the fire.
Yeah.
Again,
I will say, I think one thing they could have done better is he's not really in any kind of rush. When you see him, I was like, oh shit, this dangerous thing's happening to the ship. I should probably run to the bridge and make sure I'm getting everything sorted. But no, he just kind of fucking meanders with that serious look on his face as the ship is shaking around him.
It is a bit weird. So we see cryopods falling down, they're breaking. We see Daniels being woken up from accidentally headbutting her cryopod or sleep pod, whatever. The rest of the crew is waking up. They're all frantically, vomiting or drinking whatever fluids they need to, get their senses together. Because they can clearly tell something is wrong. Again, as I said, once he arrives at the bridge, Walter, again, he sort of slows down to a walk. He stares at the fire for about 2 seconds, and then gets the fire extinguisher and then puts out the flame. I still find it atrocious. Now, again, I know this is set before Alien, and Alien had the same issue. Actually, no, sorry. We don't see them putting out any fires in Alien. So, okay, yeah, so...
I think they do spray, like, the computers with something because they're smoking, but yeah, I don't think we see any proper fires.
Yeah, how the fuck is there, like... Again, we got the day, 21... It's, like, 21-something, and there is still not... It's the Aliens fucking issue I'm having again. Oh, no,
the
sorry.
Alien 3 thing.
Yeah,
the Alien 3, yeah.
Where
the Sulaco is like, why? What the fuck?
Why is there no, like, automated fucking foam fire system? And again,
no, you know what? This movie did one thing better than Alien 3. It woke up the fucking crew.
Oh, no, you're... Okay, actually, you know what? Yes. Now, mind you, it did need Walter to initiate it, but again, they had this is why you would have a synthetic on board.
Exactly. Oh, God.
But, again, why is it that we're entering a spacefaring thing where any kind of fire is like, oh my fucking god, there's a fucking fire. Why is there not like an automated foam system? And yes, I am very specifying foam because, again, when clearly it's an electrical fire and you do not want to hit that with water. You need foam to smother the fire. So why is that not a fucking thing?
I mean, I have seen I've seen movies that are genuinely probably even worse written than this film. Where I'll use an example of a guilty pleasure film for me, Lost in Space, from the 1990s. There's the ship, the Jupiter 2, they've just had a bad attack from like their robot, their onboard robot went haywire and started shooting up the place. And yes, even though it had to be activated by one of the characters, they still had a fire suppression system.
Yeah,
and
I need to point out, this is a thing we have today.
Yeah.
And it's not a new thing. We've had this for fucking years, decades. Now, mind you, our automatic systems do use water, but again, it's 21 plus.
I think it is just one of those things where the writers just think, we need to have stuff happen. We need to show. We need to make sure that the audience is engaged. Let's have stuff happen. Let's have the crew run around. Let's have a fire extinguisher. There you go. Are you engaged? Key jangling.
It just makes no sense. And again, like the fire extinguisher he uses is like a gaseous one. Now here we're getting to the scene that kills the guy that I said should not be killed because he's a big time thing.
James Franco.
Yeah, he's a bit of an expensive get for fucking just killing them off.
I genuinely think it was just one of those things where he likes the Alien. I think he liked the Alien movies, and it's it's kind of like that thing with when the Force Awakens came out, where they had all those big name actors, but they were just like, I don't care if you just put me in a stormtrooper costume.
Oh yeah, like Daniel Craig.
yeah. So I think that's one of these. I think this is the case. James Franco was just like, really like Alien. Can I be in the movie? I don't care if I have no lines. Just put me in the movie. And
Fair
Ridley
enough.
Scott's like, fuck it. I think that's what I think it might have been. I don't know if
Okay,
that's what happened.
but the thing is, though, there is some level of implication that his death should have been avoidable, and
Yeah.
that is because so his pods is not opening automatically when they press the buttons. They take out some kind of like device that is clearly its intent and design is clearly to emergency open these pods, right?
Yeah.
And yet it can't.
Yeah, I think they said, "Oh, it's jammed" or some shit like that, and then it's okay. Why is it jammed? But yeah, they should have like there's no fail safes for the fail safe,
Like
basically.
for these, okay, like for these type of emergency like manual things, like okay, if it was an automatic system, fine. I can genuinely believe it will not, like, by the looks of this thing is it looks like the idea is it cracks the thing open like a fucking nut. Like it is using hard physical force. Now
They
again,
did with Daniels, didn't they?
no, with Daniel's hers did open after he pressed the button.
Oh, fair enough.
But like this thing clearly, again, it's a physical force thing. It has like a whole lever to give whoever is using it leverage to try and get the force them open. But the thing is, it's using very physical force. So it's not this is not a malfunction. It is not an electric device. Like if it was like a saw, then yeah, sure, maybe it malfunctions and it doesn't work. But no, this is a simple lever system.
It requires manual. And in that regard, then why not just get Walter? Did Walter even come to try and help?
No, he's in the bridge, so I'm going to give them some leeway on that.
Okay, fair enough.
Because we don't know how fast his overall jog speed was, and we don't know
where the
bridge is
the quiet chamber.
Yeah, so I'm going to give them a pass on not having Walter there.
I can agree to that. Yeah.
But then someone takes out a fucking axe
and tries to break the glass. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
while the other two are working on it. And again, I'm looking at the device and I'm like, okay, this thing is actually targeting the glass. So is it like it looks like it's designed to like puncture the glass or like whatever casing it has, and I'm like, okay, so by all design of this thing that you're using, it should work. But for the sake of the fucking movie, it's clearly not working. And it's and I hate when movies do that, where it's like, oh yeah, this thing that should obviously 100% work, we're just going to have it not work for the sake of the scene.
Yeah. It's bullshit. It's like, again, it's like that thing. It's like, you have a character.
You know what? I have a great example for this, and I've been wanting to bring this up, and I've been waiting for us to cover Star Wars movies, but I'm going to bring it up now. It's like the Stormtrooper aim.
Yeah, where like in A New Hope, there was like the argument. Okay, so when they're leaving the Death Star, they're meant to let them go so they can bring them to Yavin. But then there's really no excuse for the future films where they just all. But
here's the thing. No, hold on. Again, people keep bringing up Stormtrooper aim, but you know what, folks? And again, I'm just gonna bring it up. All characters miss when the fucking plot calls for it, and yet everyone turns a fucking blind eye to it. But when but for some reason, Stormtroopers fall under the same category of shooting. Again, when the Stormtroopers are not shooting at the protagonists, beautiful shots, killing, no problem. But again, for obvious reasons, they're aiming at the protagonist. Something happens that causes them to miss, and what the fuck?
It actually does. It reminds me of the joke from, I think it was when Family Guy were parodying Empire Strikes Back, and Peter, who is Han Solo, says the line, I think, "Look, we got like 4 of the 5 main characters here. I think we're going to be okay."
Like, sorry, folks. And again, I understand it's a funny running gag, but like, Stormtroopers actually have exceptional aim. It's just the only problem is in the movies when we see them, they're often shooting at our lead protagonists. So of course they're going to miss.
And that is true, and it is that whole thing of because the plot demands it. And I think the most recent one I can think of, and it's the one that still pisses me off, is the Devil May Cry series, where Dante, like when we're introduced to him, he's like this absolute dick kicking badass, and then at random points during certain episodes, like regular human characters who shouldn't be able to get the jump on him get the jump on him. And it's like, okay, did we forget that he's like this superpowered half human, half demon that can kick ass? It's like when the plot demands it, he has to be completely incompetent, and it's kind of a similar thing with this, where it's just like the device works, okay, but now we need a dramatic death, so the device doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, again, and I'm sorry, folks. Folks are probably saying like, "Oh no, the other person that was using the device was just too weak." Like, but here's the thing, though: leverage. Like,
and I'm pretty sure the same people were using the device throughout that whole scene, because I do remember them using it to open up a few of the other things with success as well. So it's the same people.
I don't think we see them use it on other ones. In all fairness,
I think I recall them using it.
But the thing is, though, like these sort of manual devices are it's like a can opener. Like, yeah, okay, a can opener does require some kind of like purchase. But the thing is, though, like, it will open eventually. Like, again, like, if you get it just in the right spot, it will work, regardless of strength. Like my little brother could like use a can opener on a can, and like unless he fucks up the positioning, it's gonna start turning. And this is a big lever that they can literally jump and press down on. There's no reason. Again, as I said, I know I used a can opener as an example. And keep in mind, a can opener, most people can work that, and it's just using whatever force you can get from your hands. Just your bare hands. This is a full-on lever that these guys can put both arms and the full weight of those arms behind it. Yeah, bullshit. All right.
Yeah, it is just that kind of that, and then yeah, it does lead to, and that's what makes me laugh at this scene as well is the fire starts and James Franco's character. I know he has a name, but he's James Franco.
Yeah, he just burns.
Like basically because the oxygen inside the cryotube ignites and the whole thing sets on fire. And what I love is the guy with the axe only then chooses to try and break the glass.
Yeah, which would then cause the fire to immediately then flood towards them
and explode.
Yeah,
because it's getting new oxygen. So
yeah,
and this comes to, so remember in Prometheus where I was talking about how some of the characters just deserved to die because they make so many stupid decisions.
This movie is filled with that.
Oh my god, yes. I have never, like, I remember when people brought it up when the film first came out. I was like, really? Stupid decisions? Like, because again, it's been years since I've watched the movie, and then upon rewatching, like, they genuinely make so many stupid decisions in this movie. And they try so hard to justify it, and I
it's really not.
When we get to, I'm going to bring up an example when we get to it, but like, because when we get to Dr. Manhattan, Captain Manhattan, it's the actor that plays Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen, so I'm just going to call him Captain Manhattan. When he's trying to justify why they should go to the new planet they discover, I'm going to.
God,
I have an example to draw from, because a lot of people will be like, oh, but. Well, when we get to it, we'll get to it.
So, okay, so the next scene, we cut to said vice captain now being promoted to captain, and strangely enough, he is upset about it, and I'm glad he's upset that like this is how he gets his promotion.
Oh yeah, like he's again. Your man's a great actor, and he plays this really well. Like, this is a man who is like, I've been thrust into this position. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if the crew will respect me. So I'm just.
But the thing is, though, he then does a 180 and has like a huge fucking chip on his shoulder.
For the rest of it's
and then this is what I mean about as in like the semi anti-religion bullshit.
Yeah, because it's just like
apparently he's religious.
Yeah, and they're like, you can't be a man of faith and in command and expected to make rational decisions. And I'm just like, I can think of numerous science fiction stories that have had characters of faith who have been incredibly competent. And I know people, and there are people, I will say, again, I may not be a believer, but there are people who are believers who are also within the scientific field and are incredibly competent. So I'm just like, And again, because they go out of their way to make it like every decision he makes, like, oh, we're going the path that is laid before us. Like, you're basically just saying, because religion, I'm going to do this.
Well, yeah, and I also feel like he's like, no. I will say a lot of his bad decisions is from him basically overcompensating and trying to also win over the crew that he feels does not like him because of his fate.
Which no, it's just that you're making objectively bad decisions.
Yeah,
I mean,
so,
literally the first thing, like, they're saying, we want to have a funeral for the captain.
Yeah, dude, I'm trying to get to it, but you keep
sorry
rolling me.
sorry.
All right, so you said you're going to get to it when you get to it, but then you just go on.
Sorry. It's because again, the stupid decisions.
Yeah.
It hurts.
All right,
it physically hurts. Celtic,
yeah.
It hurts.
All right, so we then cut to him getting that promotion, and then Daniel's being in her husband's room, because apparently she was married to the captain, and she's basically just packing up his shit, getting ready to get rid of it. Which I'm going to say, typically, this is actually a believable thing, because typically, in my mind, I'm not married, folks, but like, if you truly love someone, I can imagine if you were to suddenly and violently lose them, you're going to react in one of two ways. One, you're either going to just try and completely get rid of their shit, get rid of all reminders, and just try and steam through whatever it is that you're trying to get done, like, and like throw yourself into whatever hobby or work you have. Or the other one is you're basically going to make a shrine to them in your wardrobe, in terms of like keeping their clothes and not throwing them out. You know?
Yeah.
And she obviously reacts in the former, I believe the term is. I always mix up the former and the latter. The first option, where she is just like, I'm gonna gather up all his shit. We're gonna obviously get rid of his body at some point, and it's all just gonna go out with him. And I'm just going to throw myself into this work. I'm going to finish the mission that we started. And I'm like, again, very fucking believable. And she's crying through all of it. But the one thing she seems to not want to get rid of is a nail, which is because it is a sort of a sweet thing. Like, I can understand why she would keep one thing from him. And I'm like, okay, that's sort of sweet. Basically, folks, they were the whole intent, their whole hope was to build a real log cabin on the planet that they're on their way to colonize.
Yeah, that was kind of like their big thing.
Yeah, and again, I'm assuming it's the first nail that they were planning on hammering in. So it is a bit of a sweet moment, and again, there's not really any dialogue except for as I mentioned before, the pre-recording. He says. Because him and his friend went rock climbing ahead of her.
And that's it. In terms of, we had the YouTube video where he had a few lines of dialogue, which essentially just goes to, "Isn't space beautiful? Okay, I'm going to bed." And now in this scene, it's literally just, "Hey, wish you were here. Oh shit, you almost died. All right, see you later."
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah,
that's James Franco for Alien, everybody.
But yeah, she laughs. Because clearly she's remembering that day. Of like when she probably woke up and was like, son of a bitch, he went on ahead of me. And again, it is a sort of a sweet moment. But anyway, we go from that sweet moment to another couple. The new captain and his wife. And he is just hating this. Like, how he got this promotion. His wife is then telling her, like, hey, look, it's your crew now. You need to step up.
They need you.
Yeah, you need to look calm and collected. You can't let the crew can fall apart over grief, but you can't.
Yeah, and admittedly, like his little speech to them all, like, again, he's nervous, and it does start off. I will say, even I was like, when I first watched the film a couple years back, I was like, okay, he's gonna have a lot to prove. I'm looking to see where this goes, and then the rest of the film happened.
Yeah. So one person comes in like. Sorry, I'm late. Like, clearly, also this guy is grieving as well, because again, typically with this type of mission, you would imagine that people are close to one another. You would imagine like every single colonist knows at least one or two additional people. And often with these type of things, you would also imagine they would especially seek out couples and whatnot.
Yeah, because it's a colony ship, so
Yeah.
it makes sense that they're all kind of married and stuff.
Yeah, so he's clearly just like, you know what, don't worry about it. He's like, no, it's okay. And then he's like, again, as you said, he has a lot of nervous energy. And he tackles the elephant right away. We suffered a monumental tragedy, and I'm going to do the best that I can to live up to Jacob's fine example as your captain. Like, so again, his first word to as a captain to another crew member is, "Hey, look, it's okay that you're late. We're clearly, again, subtext, you're grieving." And then the rest of it is like, look, I may not be the cap. Basically, I'm not the captain, but I'll try and live up to his example. Like, again, he is elevating the dead.
Yeah.
But
then
he's like, he will sorely be missed. Again, he is acknowledging like we're grieving, and he's saying also thank you for supporting me in advance for everything that we do. He then gives them the status report. They lost 47 colonists and 16 second generation embryos. I don't have enough context for that. Like, second generation?
I'm assuming it's like just the embryos, like you see Walter doing, because they're like the crew members that are all adults. They're the first generation, so the embryos that are there are going to be like the kids. They're going to be the second generation.
Okay.
Colonists.
Okay.
I'm assuming
Yeah, maybe
that's what they mean.
I maybe. We have no other context.
Yeah. I'm going to say, look at it like Pokemon. They're the adult colonists are the first gen red and blue.
The first 150. Well, 151.
Yeah, and then the second gen are going to be the gold and silver. The embryos are gold and silver.
Yeah, don't forget Crystal. Crystal was a good game. Had a lot of improvements from gold and silver. For me personally, I always waited for the third game to get into the next gen because there were so many advantages to going in the third one, because like you would have access to stuff that the other ones didn't. So for example, the third gen for first gen was yellow. We had
where Pikachu followed you and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then Crystal had like a lot of extra stuff, and again, Emerald had a lot of improvements over Sapphire and thing. That's when I stopped. That's when I stopped. Unfortunately, I only went up to third gen. I've gotten right back into Pokemon. I do me personally, I plan to do a fucking let's play of Shield and not Shield, Sword, because I have Sword. I do plan to do a series of Sword and then another series of Scarlet.
I would also recommend, if you can, play what's it? Fucking
Black?
No, the ones for the 3DS. The one Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, because they are
the re-released.
Yeah, because Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire also have Emerald in it. Like it's basically just part of the story now. It's not just, you don't have to wait for a third game. It's like, okay, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald are all in this story now. So. Which I think is kind of cool. So I think you'd like it. We're going on a Pokemon tangent, but Ruby and Sapphire were I grew up watching the anime, but in terms of the games, Ruby and Sapphire were my introduction to the games, and I fucking love them.
I didn't really watch the shows. I really only stuck to the games.
Oh, the shows were good.
I
think the fans never gave Ash a break as a protagonist, though.
It's hard to give him a chance.
Well, that's the thing, because
just from what I saw of the first series.
Oh no, I will defend Ash, because he did grow as a character.
We'll do a bonus. We'll do a bonus side chat at some point, and you get to defend Ash.
I will, because the fans expected too much, and they just were very inconsistent with their criticisms. But we will get onto that another time.
So he gives. Back to the guy's speech. So he immediately goes into business mode. He's given a sit rep of. Now again, I will say, he is a new captain. He was clearly not the first choice by the company or whoever is setting this up. So. Again, in ultimate mind, he is also potentially, I'm assuming he is grieving as well. So, and again, everyone grieves in their own way. And because he's been thrust into this position and he can't let himself dwell on the deaths of his potential friend and
Yeah.
whatever people he lost, like the 47 colonists he lost. He is immediately just like, okay, let them know how I feel immediately off the bat, and then we need to get down to business.
Yeah, and
And
that's something I did. I will again, it's well acted by him, because the captain's behavior, again, it's very akin to that of like when like a business gets a new manager, and the manager's like, all right, I need to make waves immediately, so I need to be as different as possible. I need to like put the foot down. Okay, this is what we're going to do. And he does. So he starts off with, oh yeah, oh, thank you for welcoming me, I hope we'll all get along together,
yeah,
and all this stuff. And then immediately it's, all right, so we're going to do this, we're going to do this, I don't want excuses, we're going to do this. Because like with the ion storm, wherever the fuck it was, they're like, we can't predict them. And he's like, I don't care, that's not an excuse, find a way to predict them. And it's like, that's
yeah,
what?
yeah.
Like
No, I
it's
will say like this is immediately him over
trying too hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but also he is also laying down the line of like, okay, there are some systems failures in the ship. We really need to jump on repairing them. Which I'm like, you know what? Totally fucking agree. I will say he was a bit like, again, like, yeah, he was unfair to say like, hey, look, hold on, his exact lines were, sorry, let me get these folks, because and this is the handy way of how I, as I don't take notes, but I do always have these things. As the sails are deploying, we absorb the full brunt of the storm. That is Walter saying to the captain. He's like, I want you and Mother, hold on, it keeps going by so fucking fast. So Walter explains it was a highly charged shockwave from a nearby stellar ignition. And then, oh, sorry, it's not him that says it, it's the captain. The captain jumps in and says, as the sails were deploying for recharge, we absorbed the full brunt of the storm. Now, again, as I said, sort of makes sense that you would occasionally, depending on how long the journey is, you would occasionally need to find some way of recharging your ship. And I can understand why you would probably want to keep the source of your power safely stored when not charging. Because if they were just like regular solar panels, like that we have on our roofs in modern day technology, like eventually, like if they were just getting hit by like small tiny rocks floating in space or whatever, that's going to cause wear and tear, and again they clearly designed them to be, and also the size of these things when deployed is truly fucking massive. So clearly they are designed to be lightweight, foldable, so they can be safely stored when not in use. But when unfolded, they can probably absorb an immense amount of energy. So the recharge rate is probably not that long. They just got very unlucky in the brief moments that they were recharging. They got hit with something.
Yeah.
It was like, I want you and Mother to undergo a complete core code review so that we can understand how this happened in the first place. And he was like, it was a random localized event, sir. He was like, there's no way to detect spontaneous stellar flares. And I love the look on Walter's face. He's like, this is pretty obvious stuff. Like, this is common sense.
I will say it does lead to, it is a good delivery that did kind of make me laugh. It's where...
Yeah.
I can't remember the question the captain asked, but he asks something at Walter, and Walter is like, "Oh, was that a question? Yes, we have this and this ready," or something like that.
Oh yeah, it is very funny. But I love how it gets backed up by the co-pilot Faris.
Tennessee's wife. Yeah,
yeah, because she's like, it was bad luck, and again, like, very fair. Again, very fair. But then, like, immediately, again, this is the captain overcompensating. He said something that it's a moment where he clearly did not understand what the thing was, and instead of acknowledging he was wrong, he is instead doubling down and insisting that they find a way to do something that really cannot be done. And he's like, I don't believe... Like, his immediate line to her, defending Walter's statement, is I
I
don't
don't
believe
believe
in
in
luck.
luck.
I'm not interested in luck. I prefer that we be more capable and prepared than lucky. Observation, reflection, and determination. In this way, we may, follow the path that unfolds before us.
I think the best way I could probably describe him as the captain is James Franco's character was the one that became captain from experience. Captain Manhattan is the guy that became captain from studying. You know, like the managers. Like one manager got there from years of working hard and experience. The
Yeah,
other one did like a 3-year college course, and now they're the manager, kind of thing.
yeah.
And that's what he is very much coming across as. And again, acted really well. Because immediately after this scene, I was like, I've never wanted to punch someone in the face so hard.
Now, it does get explained that how many recharge cycles they have to make. Now, as we established, their ETA is 7 years and 8 months. They have we don't know how long each cycle is, but they have 8 more recharge cycles. So pretty much, it seems that they get like maybe a year, or no, it wouldn't be half a year. They definitely get like a year, or just below a year on every recharge. That's a pretty impressive amount of power that ship can store, just
Yeah,
purely
well,
based
well,
on
because
solar energy.
well, I assume it's. Oh no, because did they say it's 7 years to get there? Not
It's
7
seven.
months.
It's 7 years, 4 months.
7 years. That was it. So yeah, no, you're right. It's let's say each charge is like a year and a bit.
Yeah. So again, and that implies that this ship is running purely on solar energy. But again, that we saw how big the sales were. Again, I have to imagine that the reason why those like solar sail charge panels things, whatever they are, clearly they must charge at a very quick rate, judging based on their size. Like they
Yeah,
make up a huge fucking size when
oh, yeah,
completely unfolded.
they're rather large. Yes.
So yeah, at this point, everyone gets assigned to their repair duties, and one of the crew speaks up. He's like, "We just lost 47 colonists and our captain. We need to acknowledge that." And then he immediately is like, now again, I will say the captain is sort of right on this, but his phrasing is wrong.
Wrong. Yeah, like it is that whole thing of it's the new manager needing to make waves.
Yeah,
Um,
like
I've given the order, you will follow it.
yeah, that's actually the exact line he says, because he's sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty much what he says. But if we he basically makes the argument of like, okay, well, we need to get these repairs done, or we risk losing everyone. Right, fair fucking point. But you should emphasize that whatever service or acknowledgement they're going to have will be done after the repairs.
yeah. It's more so just as you said. It's not what he said. It's how he said it.
Yeah. He didn't, which is funny because from a religious man, you would think he would be a bit more sympathetic. Like, arguably, you would think he would be a bit more sympathetic to their quote unquote souls. And again, because a lot of religions do hold still the remains in a sacred position. Hence, why funerals and in some cases, some religious people do not even want their bodies to ever be exhumed, even if they were murdered. Like it's again, there's a connection between the body as well as all I'm saying. So you think like he'll be a bit more understanding that they want to, say their piece and whatnot. Tennessee speaks up. He's like, "Sir, come on," But then he's like, "No, I gave you my order." He gets fairly aggressive.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you're starting to undermine me now. I don't want that. So please, just I've made my statement. So get to work, kind of thing.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like they would have kept arguing if it wasn't for Daniels, who comes in extremely late, obviously, to this meeting, and she is just like, "Hey, we need to do this. We need to do that." Like she is shutting down. She's like, again, as I said, she is now solely focused on the work, and
Yeah, it's very, very, very practical.
yeah, and again, I feel like the rest of the crew seeing her in that state, they're like, okay, you know what? Let's not argue in front of her. We'll get it done.
Yeah.
And he's like, the repair should take about 48 hours. So it's 48 hours for the repairs. There's no mention on the what's it called? The recharge rate. So it's like they must have been done, but like by the time the flare hit them. So again, impressive recharge rate. Speaking from someone who has to often charge their phone,
Yeah.
and how long that can take. We get some nice moments between Daniels and Walter as they
Oh yeah,
check.
because they're in the cargo hold. Yeah.
Yeah, check, making sure all their vehicles are locked in. And again, it's very believable. We see like a fucking digger. We see like all these other types of vehicles, all secured by chains. You do sort of feel like, yeah, these guys were gonna like properly colonize.
Oh yeah, it's the very kind of not too distant future type of sci-fi, and I always do kind of like.
Yeah, where there's a lot of like, yeah, there's a lot of vehicles, but there's still gonna be a lot of manpower. They're checking them out. It's actually a lot of quietness, like, but again, it is something that you would expect from a synthetic and a human. But obviously, like, eventually, she does speak up, and she's like, "Yeah, I didn't want to actually be on this trip, but her husband convinced her to do it," and she explains the whole motivation, like the log cabin on a lake, something like that, and they've apparently already picked out a zone on the planet that they're going to, which is it is like they do a really good job of making you feel for her, and her delivery is actually quite good.
Yeah. And because she is a good actor. She's your one from the Fantastic Beast movies.
Is she? Wait, which one?
Yeah,
Fantastic Beasts?
the one that helps Newt, the one that has the sister that turned evil in the second one for no reason.
That's her. Oh my god! Oh yeah, she's eating the hot dog in the third one, and for some reason people hyper fixate on that.
Yeah, Catherine Waterston. That's her name.
Yeah, I don't know what. Apparently, it was something to do with like what she had on the hot dog. I'm like, okay.
People will fixate on the weirdest things.
Yeah, but it's just she's an American wizard eating a hot dog. Like, to me, that sounds American. Yeah, like I'm like, even the wizards in America eat hot dogs.
Yeah.
To me, it makes sense to blend in.
Yeah. Again, people will fixate on the weirdest things when it comes to movies. Anyway, but yeah, no, they have their little moment, and I think don't the captain and his wife have that moment as well where he. Oh no, yeah, they have the.
Yeah, no, it turns out the rest.
Funeral.
The rest of the crew snuck off at some point to have a quick funeral. So, in all fairness, I can understand his frustration of being like, "Son of a fucking bitch! They're disobeying my orders." I can semi sympathize with him in this moment.
But then even his wife is like, she's burying her husband.
Yeah.
Like don't get too stuck up about this.
Yeah, and they all just joke about how he had his whiskey. Which I'm like, and I actually like Walter's moment, like, because like again, you get a very different feel of how Walter's treated, even because like with David, he was not really treated all that kindly except by Shaw. Everyone just treated Walter as a robot.
Well, they treat him as one of the lads.
Yeah, Walter gets treated very nicely, like, because without even any kind of gesturing, Tennessee is just holding out the bottle for Walter. And
it's
Walter's
like
just
Rome.
like, yeah. And I'm like, fair fucking play to these guys. They're treating Walter as like one of the gang. And I'm like, yeah, I actually really like that. Now, again, there is a bit of an explanation of why maybe people kept putting down David. And it's because of, again, he was an AI. And because of how much he was basically alive.
It wasn't just that. It's just that with David, there was a very distinct... it was all in his mannerisms and how... Because keep in mind, David is basically he's the answer to the question, what if an AI was a sociopath? And that's it. It's in his behavior. As Walter says later on, like, you disturbed people.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
your model disturbed people.
yeah. I was getting to
So,
that.
oh yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, it's like he's too human, if that
Yeah,
makes
that's what I
sense. Like,
meant. That's what I was
yeah,
getting at.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well, like David was too human, and as such, humans felt like they had to constantly remind him, "You're not." Whereas because Walter has that monotone, that lack of expression on his face, like, and again, like everyone's aware of the limitations of his programming, so
Yeah.
therefore it seems like they go out of their way to be like, hey man. Again,
Yeah, like
it's like,
accommodate him, yeah.
yeah, it's like how people will treat their. Oh my god, this is gonna make me sound like an awful person again. But you know what? I'm gonna power through. It's like how people eventually treat their pets.
Oh wow.
Think about it. You talk to your dogs. Like you're a dog person, right? You have dogs.
Dog and a cat person, yeah.
Okay, but you have pets. Do you talk to them as if they're people?
Uh, eh, not really.
Yes or no?
No.
No, you don't. But does anyone in your family do?
Um, like babies. If that makes sense. So like, oh, are you okay there? Are you okay? You know, that kind of stuff. Like, that's how we talk to them.
Okay, well, my mother even refers to my dogs. Like she will say to my brother, talk to your brothers." Like referring to my dogs,
Ah,
and I've seen it. Like all my friends who have dogs, at some point or another, their family starts talking to them. Like again, they completely understand. Don't get on. I'm not saying to underestimate the intelligence of a dog. Dogs are very fucking intelligent. They do understand what you're saying.
yeah.
After a while, but yeah, I feel like it's like that. And again, it makes me sound like an off like that Walter is basically just a pet, and people are treating him as if he was a pet.
I think it would be more down to with Walter. It's that he's more approachable in terms of personality. Like again, like with David. Again, there was the whole two human
There's
thing.
not. Sorry.
Because with David, think about with David, there was also that he carried with him an air of superiority.
Oh yeah, he does. But the thing is, though, when you talk about personality, Walter doesn't really have one.
Well, I suppose you could argue that his personality is. I would describe his personality as that of a soldier. He has a duty. He will do. He will do it, and he's polite and courteous. And like again, like that scene between him and Daniels in the cargo hold, like he is clearly comforting her. So it is like he. I think he does have a personality that is. I would say he's more akin to something like Bishop, like an early Bishop.
All right.
If that makes sense. That's how I saw. That's how I thought he came across. Anyway.
Right. But yeah.
Just,
So anyway, so
yeah.
they wrap up the funeral, but yeah, as we said, the captain is very butthurt about it. He like again at first he tries to take the command that's thrust upon him with some reluctance and some grievances, but then he does he gets called out on some things, and then this one insubordination sort of makes him do a 180 where he sort of gets a chip on his shoulder, like as in like he's like, they don't respect me. The reason why I wasn't given this command initially was because of my fate, and then from this point on, the rest of his decisions is sort of like, okay, well, I need to win them over. I'm not going to make the hard decisions. I'm going to try and make the decisions that will make them happy, which leads to such a big fucking blunder of a decision.
When we get to that, because I have a movie in mind to compare it to in terms of, because I've seen so many people be like, well, of course they're not perfect. They're going to make stupid decisions. I'm just like, no. And I will explain why when we get to it, because
So the following scenes, folks, is then just them repairing the solar sails. Tennessee receives some kind of communication video They can't quite make it out. They catch it. They isolate it from his
Yeah.
helmet.
I think they
And
explained it as like because he was so far out from the
yeah,
ship, he was able to pick it up. Yeah.
yeah, and they then try and analyze it. He recognizes a tune that is being played through the video.
Yeah, it's the voices singing John Denver's Country Roads.
Yeah. And I know we're sort of really fast forwarding, folks. It's just because nothing really else happens.
No, I know I said it to you before the call, but I will describe this movie as it's just a sequence of events happening. Like it's just, oh, and then this happens. Oh, and then this happens. Oh, and then this happens. There's real
there's no character. Like there's very few character on character interactions.
I'm not gonna lie. I sometimes forget there's characters in this film. Actually,
yeah, it's all it's mostly just events that then move the plot forward. There's no real characterization.
Like,
stop struggling.
What's going on?
Oh, my man's going to bed, so she sent my biggest dog into me, and he does not be on the floor. He goes onto the bed. And he's just like, no, I'm not letting you pick me up. I know I want to be on the bed, but I'm not letting you pick me up. And now he's getting tangled in my my map case strap. Hold still. I won't tangle you. There you go. Piss off. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, so they realize, like, oh wow, there's clearly human life. Track it to its source, and so they do. And the captain's like, well, this is a very habitable planet. It has better projections than the planet we were planning on going to.
It's only like a week away.
And also, I highly doubt that anyone else, like, he's justifying it to Daniels. Daniels is very... Now, I understand why she'd be very reluctant to change course, because she really wants to build a log cabin where her and her husband said they were going to build it. So I really feel like that's where her judgment is coming in from.
Well, her argument is still sound against it as well. It's like, we don't we know nothing about this planet. We know the planet we're going to, you know? Like,
no, I totally agree.
And again, this is where it comes in, because, like, again, it's the whole thing of, oh yeah, it's human error. Of course, they're going to make stupid decisions. It looks like a planet. They're going to go check it out. And first of all, no, this is not Star Trek. Secondly, there's because basically this one decision is what triggers everything else to happen, and this is what causes everyone else to die. There's a science fiction movie that does this idea so much better, and it is called Sunshine. And it is
Sunshine. That's a great horror movie.
It's a great cosmic horror movie. And for those that don't know, so basically the long and short of it, sun is dying.
They're gonna nuke it.
They're gonna nuke it to reignite it. It is incredibly scientifically inaccurate. They did have physicist Brian Cox as their consultant. Even he acknowledges, they did think, they told me from the get-go, a lot of the stuff they're gonna do is just for Hollywood, like, entertainment. I accept that.
Yeah. But that one guy that just goes insane.
Yeah, which is, again, quite believable. But the whole point of the film is everything wrong that happens in that movie comes down to one choice that is made. And that one choice is basically, we've discovered the distress signal of the previous ship that tried to do what we're doing right now, that we lost contact with. We don't know if our payload will work, because all of our projections have basically shut down or just crashed as soon as it shows the bomb entering the sun. So Cillian Murphy's character, who is the physicist on board, his rationale is 2 last hopes are better than 1. So let's go and get the bomb from that ship, so that way if one fails, we at least have another attempt. And that's the logical reasoning. And then everything else that happens is just human error, basically.
Yeah.
That's what causes everything else. And in this movie with Covenant, it is very clearly, there are so many things wrong with this decision that it can't just... I'm not cropping up to human error, it's human idiocy.
Yeah, and again, like, it's purely fuel. Again, the captain is purely making a decision of being like, okay, well, no one else, like, everyone else doesn't want to go into fucking go back
and I'm
to
just working with
cryosleep.
the path that is set before me. You know, I'm just like, fuck off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then
No,
again,
first
like,
he does make that argument. I will say he does make that argument as well. But like, I also
it's
feels like a lot. I do feel like a good bit that's fueling it is him. I feel like he feels that he'll be accepted as captain if he makes this decision that they all like. That they don't
yeah,
have to
that's
go back
basically
because all the Alien movies constantly bring up how much people hate the cryo sleep.
yeah, like it's for I think in Aliens, it's more so it's just uncomfortable, like to wake up from it. Like it's just they feel like
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's like from the way they act, I'm assuming it's something akin to a hangover.
yeah, and
Um,
no one wants it.
yeah, and to be fair, I will say, like to be fair to the guys in this film, like whoever designed those cryo pods must really hate people with claustrophobia because they look
Oh yeah,
like the most horrible things to be in this
they
film.
do seem like it seems like they do get bigger as like obviously with Alien and Ford, like
Yeah,
future
yeah.
movies. So maybe someone did take a page and like what, people are not reacting well to the very tight space of
Yeah,
these.
so
Let's
let's
make
have
them a
them
bit
like
bigger.
be yeah, and let's have the door be completely glass so it feels more open and okay, fair enough. But yeah,
But
like like the decision that he makes, and then like the decisions that everyone else makes once they get to the planet, like it's
yeah,
like okay, so it looks like we spent years scanning Orgai 6. We know the terrain, we know the atmosphere, we know the particles. Basically, with
yeah, because
this,
they would have sent
we
drones and whatnot ahead.
yeah. With this mysterious planet that appeared out of nowhere, it's in the habitable zone. It looks like it's going to be breathable. Let's just go and see what happens. Which, like even in Alien, right? They went down to the planet. They went down, but they had the excuse of spacesuits.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm just
Oh,
like,
that's something I wanted to get into. Okay, so again, we have Daniels then come in to the captain. He's like, "Hey, I want to officially record it that I'm against this."
yeah,
And the captain talks to her in a bit of a concern. He's like, "It is no it." Like the way
like
he
he
delivers
takes
that.
that as like a personal insult.
Like he again, like folks, it's like everything. He's now like it's just like, and now she does point out like he's like, hold on. He's like, it's better habitat for our colony. He's like, it has a potential. We don't know that, but by the way, this crew, nobody wants to go back into Mars. Like again, that's his argument. He's like, right, and that was a human voice in that transmission. It is our responsibility to investigate. No, you're a fucking colony ship, and then she's like, it's our responsibility to protect the 2,000 colonists on the ship.
Exactly, and again, that's where where Sunshine had the logic is
Oh,
sound.
sorry. I
With
want to bring this
it's-
up because his very following line to her saying that is, "I'm not free climbing here."
Oh yeah, and she just kind of give him a look like, oh okay.
He delivers that with a fucking like a little hint of a smirk on his face.
Yeah, he's. It's clear that he quickly turns into an analogy. Like I have to work with the ropes and the tools that I have, but it
Sorry,
does feel
yeah,
like
I need
that was
ropes and I'm using
backhanded.
ropes. Yeah,
Yeah, like that was like a backhanded remark.
and then it's like
he was trying to get under skin.
yeah, and then he's just like,
Which,
"This is good. This is good judgment based on all the data available."
but that's the thing. Again, it's not, and that's why like because the logic, again in Sunshine, the logic was sound. It leads to some fucking tragedy, but at least the logic behind the initial decision was sound. In this movie, there is no logic.
Yeah.
It is just, this planet's here. It looks better. It's closer and looks similar to the one we're going to. Fuck it, let's go there.
Yeah.
I'm just like, fuck off.
Like it's just very fucking atrocious. This information. So they also see that there's a fucking ion storm going on in like.
Oh yeah, perfectly habitable.
Oh yeah, in the area that they were initially planning on landing. Now, we do see a bit of an we see a bit of the planet from space. You can see the ion storm. Like you can even see the lightning from the from space.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: they're in a fucking shuttle. If you see that there's a storm in this region of the planet, what is to stop your spacefaring vessel from moving in the opposite direction of the fucking storm and landing somewhere else.
Yeah, it's again. This is where the plot comes in. So, the plot needs to happen.
Yeah,
It just has to
they
happen. Like,
clearly
there has to be a reason.
Yeah. Now, mind you, actually, no, sorry. Correction, folks. My bad. I need to rewind that. I need to take that back. I will own up to my mistake, my human error, because I do recall that David does say when the storms hits, it covers the planet. Sorry, it isolates the planet. My bad. He does say that later in the movie.
Yeah, so it's really not habitable then, is it?
Yeah, no. Especially since it cuts you off from out from the outside.
And yeah, so that's why they have to go down the shuttle. And again, this brings up. I'll come back to it again because where Tennessee's wife is the pilot, and she's clearly she's very good in high stress situations. She can fly through the storm. She's barely sweating about it.
Yeah,
we're gonna come back to her later on because
she makes some really weird decisions.
I'll just preface it by saying I have never been more happy to see a character die.
Yeah. So, okay. So, there's a bit... Again, we know how close this crew is. We actually get some decent characterization here between the crew. There's a lot of joking back and forth about, each women's tits, and all that.
Their respective wives' chests, and the captain is like, what the fuck? And then, to be fair, Tennessee's wife is like, oh, why don't we just talk about your dick then?
Yeah, and then that's when he shuts up.
Yeah, no, it is clearly we are all good friends. There's no malice behind this. Let's just a high stress situation.
And then we have this other couple, Loeb and I forget the other guys. Oh, Loeb and I think Sam. No,
the blonde lad.
No, the gay couple.
Yeah, which again, you don't. And again, this is why the Last Supper, the YouTube, the scene that was deleted and turned into a YouTube video. If you didn't watch that, you'd have no idea that they were meant to be a couple. I had no
except
idea
for their terms of endearment to one another.
Do they have a terms? Again,
yeah, he's like my love and all that, my dear, and all that.
I missed that.
Okay.
Again, this movie is a slog to sit through for me. I'm sorry.
But yeah, no. So he's now one of them's freaking out. He's not like this. He's holding tight to the fucking harness, whereas his husband is laughing at me. He does not have any hands on the harness. He is looking over, laughing. He's like, "Oh yeah, sorry." One of them is like, "I hate space." The husband is looking at him.
What are you here?
His husband he's like, again, they clearly recruited couples for this, and it's clearly a situation where he's like, why did you drag me like Daniels, who was recruited by she was dragged in by what's it called, her husband. Clearly this man's was dragged in along, and his husband has a huge smile on his face, laughing, and he says, this is why you need to do yoga.
Oh, that was it. Yes.
And I'm again, the banter, a couple will make fun of each other, especially if one of them is scared shitless.
No, yeah, we'll say again, acting wise, the cast do a pretty decent job. I think the only real downside to the cast is a lot of the material they have to work with makes their characters forgettable.
Now, this is where it gets a bit weird for me. The ion storm is only at the stratosphere level. Once they go through the storm, the storm is very localized to the stratosphere. So once you get through the clouds, then that's it. And we see lightning coming off of those things, but the lightning is not going down to the planet.
Yeah, it's staying upwards.
It's again. I am not a physicist. I'm not what's it called, an astrologist. I do not. Is this how an ion storm would behave? I don't know. But with my monkey brain, when I see lightning, I know that lightning is generally it seeks to be grounded, basically. So my monkey brain sees lightning. It knows lightning wants ground.
Yeah. I do know there are rare cases, like I know I've seen NASA photos and stuff like that of lightning that does go upwards. I think it has something to do with like whatever's the gases are in the atmosphere, like it just mixes and creates that kind of
Okay.
thing. But again, like in real life, that shit's very rare.
Right.
This is an alien planet. It's sci-fi. We can just
Yeah, fair enough. But like, it is somehow it is a clear sunny day beneath the clouds.
yeah. You'd never think there was a storm.
Yeah, and I'm
Uh,
like, okay, what? And then also, we see that it's raining as well. Like, it's weird. There'll be clips that where it does not appear to be raining, but then there are clips inside the cabin of the ship, and the windows has very visible rainfall.
yeah, like
And I'm
it's a
like,
very bumpy ride. Clearly,
yeah, I'm like, wait, hold on, is it raining or is it not raining? Because like you're establishing shots of the beautiful countryside, or wherever you're filming. It's very.
I think they're still filming in Greenland, just like with Prometheus. I think.
Okay, well, either way,
Or
very
Iceland, I think.
very beautiful country.
Oh, absolutely. It's
yeah.
like again, like something just like with Prometheus. Like we'll go into some praise now. Like the cinematography and the locations and stuff like that. It's fucking beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Um,
But again, like it's just like, wait, is it raining or is it not raining? Now, here's when we get to some really, really, really stupid decisions. They decide to go down onto this planet where they've had no scans other than like what the air is made of. I will say, I do love how they take out the fucking guns.
yeah, that's probably the last smart decision you will see in this film.
Yeah, it is the last smart decision.
Genuinely the last smart decision.
Well, besides some clearly violent creatures on sight, which some of them do after some stupid delay. But okay, so they touch on a planet. It's not raining, despite just moments ago we saw on the fucking class windows that okay it was raining, but okay. But yeah, but here's the thing, folks. None of them are wearing any kind of protective headgear. And they just waltz right into unknown water or liquid. They land on their ship, they open they grab the guns. Again, smart decision, very smart decision. They open the bay doors, not smart decision, because none of them have any masks or breathing apparatus. So because I don't know about you folks, but did you know that all life began as tiny, tiny microorganisms?
Yeah, they have no idea what microbes are in the water, but it's not just that. Like they have no idea what
might be airborne.
We get to that very fucking quickly.
Oh yeah,
and my favorite line from Loeb, is that the character?
Yeah, I think that's his name.
The security officer, like he just looks at the field. This is corn. I know corn.
No,
Okay.
it's grain. It's
Grain.
Yeah.
I know grain. I was like, okay, you're on an alien planet. I know grain. Okay. I know cloud. That is cloud.
In all fairness, though, grain is actually a very it'd be very strange to find like a plant that was really grain. It was a plant. Was a different plant before humans started fucking.
Fair enough.
Yeah, interfering with its growth and whatnot.
And I suppose, as we later realized, like this was where David and Shaw had well, we know what happened to Shaw, but so yeah, there's human food, and I suppose the engineers, because there's going to be some similarities, I guess.
Yeah. So, but the point is though, like this is clearly a farm plant. It is not a wild plant.
No,
that's the whole point.
Yeah, and they were like, "Well, who planted it?" You know.
Yeah. But anyway,
they're exploring this.
It's fucking ridiculous. Like no fucking masks, no head protective gear. Like it's what
even in Prometheus, like they at least when they first left, like even when they go into the cave system, and the oxygen saying, "Oh yeah, no, it's breathable. We're getting these very clear readouts. There's nothing that could." Harm us, and so that's why Holloway takes off the helmet.
They scan the air. They scan the air first.
In this, they don't. They just know that the atmosphere is similar to Earth and the planet's in the habitable zone. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Let's just see what happens.
Yeah. So they leave one person back at the ship, and they immediately start exploring. And there's a sort of I will sort of say there is a bit of a personality showing in Walter, because him and Daniels has a nice moment where he's like, "Nice place for a log cabin," and she's like,
Yeah.
smiles, and she's like, "Jake would have loved this," and
Yeah.
it's a really sweet moment. Then the captain shows up. Oh my
Yeah.
god! Like,
I will say,
he's like, "Hey, Danny." Hold on, I'm just gonna get his exact quotes. "Hey, Danny, it's not such a bad landing site after all, huh?" Everything's
you
phrased
got
as a
one.
question. We got the housing units right over there. Civic complex beyond that barn. We got access to fresh water. Like, he is immediate. Like, look how right I was. Look how
Yeah.
right I was.
And like when she's still saying we need to be cautious. Oh, ye of little faith.
Yeah, and it's very clear. She's like, okay, I clearly know what you're doing. See, with Walter, he's acknowledging, like, hey, it's a nice place for a log cabin. You know, like, he's acknowledging,
Trying to lift her spirits.
Yeah, and he's reminding her of her husband, which again is a sort of a sweet moment. But then this guy, like, see, that's the difference between what Walter did and what this captain is doing. This captain is very clearly trying to be like, I was right, you were wrong, admit it. Like,
and credit where it's due to the wife. Even she's like, God, he can be insufferable even when he's happy, can't he?
Yeah. And there it is. Oh, yeah. Because the thing is, she doesn't even say anything. She doesn't even say, like, we need to be cautious. She is expressing no fucking doubts. Hold on. Actually, I'm going to rewind that just to make sure I'm right. Hold on. No line from her. Okay, sorry. She does say one thing. We'll see. So not even any kind of contradiction to him. Just, we'll see.
Yeah, because like I'm okay. Maybe I'm open-minded, but I'm still going to be cautious with it. And he's still, oh come on, like he's too excited, he's too enthusiastic, and basically kind of committed to the idea. This was a good idea. This was.
No, Andrew. Again, I do like how his wife. She does cheer up after his wife is like, he's insufferable even when he's happy. So she's like, oh. So it's not just me. And then this is when Loeb is like, this is wheat. Sorry, it wasn't even grain. This is wheat.
It was wheat. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's an even better example of like, yeah, that's not that's cultivated shit. That's not, wild plant life.
Mm.
And he immediately puts it in, like, he's immediately smoking. I'm like, oh my fucking god, of course. The first thing you're going to do when land on a fucking planet is throw some toxins in the air. Like,
indeed. And this is basically... not much else happens beyond, okay, you're one stage, the pilot of the ship stays behind, she's preparing. And then they kind of split off halfway. The wife... the captain's wife wants to take some like plant and microbe like samples and stuff like that. The security guard stays with her, and the others go off. And
and then there's also explanation that the ion storm is making it so they can't really communicate.
Yeah, it's fucking up their shit a lot, basically. And I can't remember that. No, they don't discover the ship yet. It's the doctor and the security guy that's with her. She's the biologist.
Botanist. So they're walking. They're walking around. He wants to stop for a bit. From what it looks like, just to have a smoke.
Yeah, though he says I'm taking a leak, but he goes off, and again,
I'm trying to jump to. So she's examining plants. He wanders off, which I'm like. Hold on, I'm just going to double check him wandering off, like his exclamation. Because again, folks, when I always like to come with receipts when I say something.
I remember literally his line is, "I got to go take a leak."
Yeah, I'm just making sure.
Okay.
Because again, wait slowly. Okay. Blah 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 blah. So she's leaning down to examine some water. This will do. Which. Oh. Okay, what do you mean this will do? You know what I mean? She says this will do. Like, what does she mean by that?
Yeah, I think it's the
Like,
same as I always when with stuff like that, because it's like such minuscule kind of moments. I always
mm.
look at it the same way I would look at like Star
Oh,
Trek Technobabble. You know, you don't
okay,
need
yeah.
to know the specifics; it's
Oh
just
yeah,
there.
okay. So I guess you meant it would be taking samples, and that's when he says, "I gotta take a leak."
Yeah,
And again, I sort of love that logic. Like, oh yeah, we're only going to assign one security officer, with you, and then he's going to wander off. Sorry,
yep.
what?
And it's not to take the leak, like you said. He's having a smoke.
Yeah, which is a bit weird. Oh, actually, yeah, I suppose she wouldn't allow him to potentially contaminate. So yeah, he steps on some spores. And again, yeah, he absolutely is not taking a leak. He sits, he lights a cigarette, steps on some spores, sits his ass down, takes off his earpiece.
And as
Great,
he's doing this, his shoe like knocked off a spore thing.
yeah, yeah, which release microorganisms, which I actually do not hate the idea that whatever the bioweapon is, you know, affecting some plants like that. You know,
Yeah,
like
but this is where
I can see it evolving to seek out to seek out hosts in new ways. You
yeah,
know?
and again, this is where my issue comes in regards to these films should not have been prequels, because the whole point of the xenomorph is, oh, it's the perfect life cycle. It's the egg, the face hugger,
Mm.
the chest burster, the egg den. Like it's the perfect organism. And yet here in a movie that's meant to take place years before Alien, years before humanity technically first encounters a xenomorph on record, here we have this version of the xeno where it's even more perfect because you don't even need the facehuggers. It's just the spores, which means that like they can be microbes. They can infect anywhere in any way. They
Yeah,
don't just need
yeah,
like
yeah, and the fact that it's treated as if it's a primitive version.
when it's genuinely like more advanced. Like
Yeah.
from a biological standpoint, that would be like the next
Well,
phase.
its defense seems to be much weak. Like, okay, from what we see later on of the fully grown thing that results from this one, it does seem like they are not as sturdy and as strong as a xenomorph. Like
It
in
still
terms
looks
of
like it was hard to take down.
in terms of impregnation, like sorry, of reproduction, I should say. Yeah, in terms of
Yeah,
its
the
reproduction,
reproduction was way too advanced.
it's way too advanced for it to be a primitive version of it.
Yeah,
Again, so, maybe again, logically you could argue maybe David is not looking for how easily it can reproduce. He's looking for how long, because again, remember his whole thing about against humans was like, well, one you'll decay, I will not. So maybe
hmm
he wants something that can last, you know, longer. And so maybe the end result, like maybe it could reproduce very efficiently, but the end result was a frailer life form. That's the only way I
yeah.
can. That's the way I can logic it from his perspective of
Oh
like what could
god.
define a quote unquote failure. Now, to me, I'm like as someone who plays like some RTS games like Stellaris, population growth is a bitch. You know, you want to prioritize reproduction early on in those games. You know, you don't care
Yeah.
about how long your people live for. It's no good to you if your population growth is so low you can't colonize other planets. You know?
Yeah, like yeah, like again, like it's again, like as you say, like the design of them as a primitive works. It's just yeah,
Yeah. Like,
they
again,
needed they. I want to know what the writers were smoking when they were coming up with these
I would
ideas.
like to
'Cause
understand. Yeah, like again, I would like to understand why would David consider this a failure. You know, like if we got
yeah,
if we got something like, to be honest with you, it could have been, it could have been really fun. Like this is where I think as a show it could have worked as a better formula. Because how fun would it be to have a whole episode, like a whole like this could have been easily a 40-minute like per episode type of show. Imagine a 40-minute episode of David walking us through, like the different versions that came about before he got to what he considers his perfect being.
hmm.
That would have been really nice. Like learning, like, okay, see, this one I liked this. This one was a failure because of such and such. This one was a failure because of such and such. Because he does mention he crossbred and hybridized to get to the final result. So clearly he was trying to do some selective breeding of whatever of some of the best traits that he saw. And again, it would have been nice to to sort of see like what did he like from each iteration.
Yeah.
So, you know what? It's like that scene in Incredibles. You know, when we see like the fucking
The Omnidroid.
yeah, and the evolution of that. Now, mind you, it's a robot. It doesn't need a bit full on explanations, but like something like that, like
Yeah,
you know,
but even then, because that's a good point. Like the Incredibles did such a good job in one scene with no dialogue, showcasing how the Omnidroid came to be what it is now. Like all the different superheroes. Every time a superhero destroyed it, another one would be built to be better than the next one. And it was and with this film, it's just, oh yeah, I did some shit and then this happened.
yeah. And again, like as I said, as a series, it couldn't have worked much better because we could have gotten like they could have given us a full 40-minute episode of that type of explanation. Like again, a semi flashback episode, you know. But we didn't. But anyway, back to this guy making a stupid decision. He again, worst security officer ever.
Like they don't like.
He takes off his like. Okay, first off, he is dressed similarly to the rest of the group. Like
I think I wouldn't even call it a security officer being stupid. I think they're all, again, as you said, they're all stupid because none of them are wearing any protective gear.
yeah, and it's like, oh yeah, technically we didn't. Oh yeah, sorry, we technically do not know if he's a security officer. But like there must be a reason why he was chosen to go with her, and so I have to assume there must be some, like, as part of the emergency staff revival, security. They must have some level of fucking security that would be woken up during such an event.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming because again we're unlike this is where Prometheus did a better job. Prometheus gave us everyone's fucking position on the crew and like what their general assignments are, right? We get none of that in fucking Covenant.
Yeah, like I genuinely thought, like the captain's wife, I genuinely thought she was the medic until like the end of the film, where it turns out the medic is still on board the ship with Tennessee.
Yeah. Also,
Like,
that's the thing. You're not sending the medic with them.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Again, like, because the biggest defense for why they didn't have protective gear, they didn't wear masks or something to like protect them from anything like the fucking spores, was, oh well, they're colonists, they're not equipped for this. Bull fucking shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
That is not an excuse. They are astronauts.
Sorry, I want to point out
Them to
that
go out.
I want to point out when the Vikings wanted to colonize parts of Ireland, they sent fucking warriors with them. They didn't just send farmers and whatnot. Warriors went with them.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if they're colonists. They are colonists that are going to another planet. They are going to have to be trained for everything.
And clearly, they packed guns. So they were expecting the potential, now, not mind you, confirmation, they were just expecting the potential of unfriendly life.
Yeah, just like security. And that's the thing, like, to go back to Alien, they were space truckers, and they still had more common sense than these fuckers.
Yeah. And
they had less sophisticated technology
also,
with them.
this guy does one of the douchiest things I've ever seen. He's not being looked at by anyone, and yet he decides to blow smoke circles. That's a thing that you do when you want to just impress, like, little kids or your mates, that are also smokers.
Maybe he's a fan. Maybe he's a fan of Lord of the Rings and just was remembering a fun scene.
Okay, maybe. Okay, fair enough. But like he just does it for like, and then obviously we see the spores acting as some kind of like hive mind.
Yeah, because they're clearly it's clearly like
multiple.
Similar to the facehuggers, where it's like, yeah, we see our target, we're going, and credit where it's due.
The idea of the sensation of this thing not only being small to go into it, but then they fucking bundle up into like a sort of spiral thing to dig into his ear, and I'm like, oh,
it is a very uncomfortable, like, I will say credit where it's due, like it does send a chill down your spine. Same with what happens to one of the other security guards, who, for some, again, this is meant to be security people,
Oh,
They're
yeah, sorry.
trained
I want to say the guy then flicks his cigarette
into the spores. Yeah.
no, into like wherever. You don't even see where it lands. It just flicks it into the
Yeah.
ground. You're just on this. This is your potentially new fucking home, and already you're littering.
Ah, fuck it. He dies anyway. Who gives it?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Oh yeah, and I will say the deaths, like the two deaths of the two victims of the sports, their deaths are proper fucking gnarly.
I will say they are.
They are the proper gnarly of what is expected in a fucking like alien movie.
Yeah, and because it reminds me, they did one more piece of viral marketing for this film, and I think you might appreciate it. So you know how some YouTube videos have that thing where it's like a 160 degree video where when you move your phone, the camera moves with it. They did that, only it's from the POV of the backburster.
Oh, so you see like the inside, and then it's coming out.
Oh, you see, yeah, you can hear like the muffled voices, the screaming and stuff like that. And I will say, like, as far as viral marketing goes for an alien film, that was actually that was what got me hyped for the film.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things I saw, and I was like, oh, please, this movie is going to be good. Please let this movie be good. Then I saw it. And I was like,
Yeah, because like imagine I swear to God, they would have done that's something they should do with a chest burster, like because like one of my it makes me think of one of my favorite scenes in one of my favorite franchises, vampire franchises, Underworld. In the first Underworld movie, when the guy first transforms into a werewolf, they do this whole like go into his like chest cavity, and you see like his muscles, and bones like growing, and it does a great job of basically giving you a sense of how much transforming into a lichen or a werewolf is.
Oh, it's been a while since I've watched them. I'll have to rewatch that.
Oh yeah, he's in like the back of a police car, like when it's happening.
The first film, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or is it the second?
Yeah, no, because I do know, because you were saying like from the point of view of a chest burster, I do know. I think in terms of video games, I think it's Alien versus Predator 2, where for the Alien campaign you do start off as a facehugger and then a chest burster, and then eventually the cutscene happens and you turn into an alien, a full-grown alien. So there is that. They at least in video game form we did get that, where you literally have to press a button to bite your way out of a guy's chest.
Oh, that's gnarly.
It's Again, I really wish they'd
and that's the thing, folks. Like the alien movies, like when it comes to like again, the deaths are like Alien 1. Ever since that initial... Now, I know Alien only had that one gnarly death scene, which is the initial chest burster. But, like, ever since then, like, you have to have, like, one gnarly fucking death. In Aliens, we got, like, the acid burn. Like, the guy getting, the acid, like...
Oh, yeah. What's her name? Vasquez's friend.
Yeah.
Or lover.
Alien 3, what would you say was the... You know what? Gnarliest death scene. I will. Okay, I might be biased because I did like it so much. When that man was luring the xenomorph into the refinery, and he's like, "Is that all you got, you motherfucker?"
Oh, and he gets, because
the xenomorph lingers on him, and it is active. It's angry, tearing him to shreds. Like, because
Dylan was a good character.
Like, because like most of the times it's like quick slash, quick bite, move on. No, with him it fucking was just like, oh, you son of a fucking bitch, you take that back. It was beating on him like Stewie to Brine.
God. Jesus. If we're gonna go, and then I will, because now I want to see, what would be the most gruesome deaths? If we're going with Alien Resurrection, then I would have to think
the brain death. When you see the chunk of fucking brain, it's funny, but it's gnarly.
I was actually going to say it's what's his name from Breaking Bad? I think the character's called DeStefano in Resurrection, and it's when the hybrid alien is in the congregation.
Crushes his head. Skull. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That was pretty. Yeah, that was pretty graphic.
Yeah.
Prometheus. It was very tame. Like,
yeah,
it was PG-13.
the only
So.
gnarly death would have been.
Oh no, I know.
The geologist when the fucking snake thing goes down his throat.
I was gonna say that, or the one that I think it tied with me is that it tied with that had again for me. It's always like what makes me go oh, like Final Destination. Final Destination is full of scenes that make me go oh god.
Oh god, yeah.
So I think the other scene that had me doing that in Prometheus was Byfield when he's like the mutated form now and he comes back and he's like the cargo bay.
Yeah,
and he jumps on one fucker's chest and like puke blood comes out. I'm just like, that was nasty. For this movie, the honestly the back burster and the throat burster.
Yeah. Oh god. I have to give it to the back burster just because we see so much more of it.
Yeah, and we clearly see. I don't know if it's meant to be part of his body or if it's like the little embryonic sac, but like some weird sac thing falls out of his back after the alien comes out.
So we finally arrive at. So we go back to the other team. They finally discover a down ship, which everyone who's watched the previous movies would recognize as an engineer ship.
Yeah, and I will say as well, important to point out. I mean, actually, no, it's not really important because nothing ever comes of it. It's just that Daniels points out that there's no sound, like no birds, no plant life. I'm just like, okay, but nothing ever comes of it.
Well, it does get mentioned by David that the pathogen thing that he released, it does not it targets organic life, but not plant life. So implying that all organic life that's not a plant on this planet has now basically been fucking black gooed.
Yeah, and mutated into some monstrosity, but we never see them.
Actually, with a whole planet-wide thing, it's very weird because we know he has some specimens in his little zoo, but there's not enough of them to cover a whole fucking planet.
Yeah, like he never says that there's never a line like, oh, they all died out eventually. It is just, oh yeah, no, it spread around the planet and it mutated and it created these things and I caught a few of them. I'm pretty sure they're still out there. I don't know.
But anyway, we get to Loeb who finds this like mushroom fungus type thing, and he decides.
It's not Loeb. I think it's his partner.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
I can't remember people's names. Again, they're not really memorable, as you said.
It's.
So he pokes at it with his finger, and the spore goes up as well. I do like how immediately something is wrong with him. With the other guy, he puts his finger in his ear, like he's like, huh, something.
Yeah, the other guy's he's just like, oh god, that tickled my nose.
No, yeah, it does, but his nose changed color.
Did it?
Yes.
I'll have to rewatch that.
His nose is like pinkish purple. Now,
fair enough.
So yeah, again, I would love to grab screenshots, but for some reason, currently, again, copyright protection for Disney Plus, they're very much like, we're not even gonna let you take pictures like screenshots. Actually,
well done, Disney.
Hold on. I have not tried to use it with the built-in method that is on Opera because I started using Opera.
And while you're figuring that out, I'm just gonna...
No, it's not that me.
Yeah,
the option side.
Well, on that note as well, I'm just thinking you've got a security officer again who's meant to be trained to not do stupid stuff. And what's the first thing he does when he sees a bunch of alien plant life? I'm gonna stick my face in them and I'm gonna poke them.
Yeah,
because fuck intelligence.
Yeah. So
again, it's I'm sorry. I know people will have tried to. There's no defense for the idiocy. There just isn't.
There isn't. It's too much, and
so it's Fifield and what's his name all over again from.
And folks, I do want to point something out. We are only 40 minutes into the actual movie, and yet we're over 2 hours. Us explaining like there's so much idiot decisions being made in this movie. We have now gone 2 hours. Okay, actually, I'll give about 10 minutes of I'll give about 20 minutes of tangents. I would say total to be generous. So,
it doesn't even feel like 2 hours. I'm going to be perfectly
yeah,
honest with you.
yeah. But my point is, we're still way above, like, how much time has gone by in the movie. We're still like, even if I'm being 20 minutes generous, that is still over an hour
Yeah.
on the
And
first 40 minutes.
and to be fair as well, that's us speed running it as well because the
Yeah,
movie
we're skipping
again,
scenes.
because again the movie is a grand total of fuck all happens with maybe a few bits in between that does
Yeah.
happen.
So
Like
they
it,
let me put it this way, folks. Right now, the scene that's playing on my screen now, again, I've skipped scenes and I've played scenes, but like, they're right now they explore the ship. They discover that this Shaw, as in the woman who went missing on the ship that went missing, Prometheus, 10 years ago, and then they explore around. Yeah, they see a hologram of her humming and piloting the ship, and then they fucking leave. That's
yeah,
it.
they don't even question. They don't bother exploring the ship. They're like, oh, why is this here? Oh, why? What happened? Well, to be now, I think at that point though, I'm pretty sure that's because at that point then didn't your man's wife contact them about how there's something wrong with the security guard because like he's getting a
Yeah.
fever and shit like that. So
Oh
maybe
yeah.
that's I think that was it. That's why they left.
Yeah, and also she gets as a scientist. She's clearly the scientist because she was collecting samples and whatnot. She leans in close to this guy who's clearly unwell, potentially
Yeah.
risking contaminating herself.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah, it's just like, now the pilot is like, "What's that?" Like, she's clearly getting concerned about the potential risk of disease and whatnot. And so yeah, like Orm's like, "Okay, we're leaving." Like, and again, so fair choice. Like, he realizes, okay, something's wrong. Clearly we fucked up. We're all going. He's not like, okay, you getting back to the ship and we'll keep on going. He's like, okay, everyone, this is the one. Sorry, besides from focusing on repairs, this is this like, there's only two good decisions that he makes throughout this entire movie, and that this is the second option. Sorry, I actually, no. There's a good thing that he does, but even then, there's a big fucking delay on that. He makes three. In my opinion, he makes three good decisions. To my recollection, he makes three good decisions throughout this movie, and this is the second one, where he's like, "Okay, everyone, back to the ship."
yes, shit's going down. My wife's in danger. Let's go.
Yeah,
But even then, they don't rush. They're still walking.
yeah. Oh, okay, actually, yeah, yeah. Even then, they're still walking. Now, the guy who the things went up the nose, he is falling over. He's going crazy.
He's starting to get the effects now as well. Yeah.
And then we cut back to Tennessee again, folks. See how fast we go through this shit. Like, and we still take time to explain how bad, awful decision it is. Then Tennessee is talking. Cut back to Tennessee. He's like, "Hey, are we talking quarantine?" She is not confirming it. She's just like, Ledward was bleeding, and to prepare the med bay.
Yeah, she's jumping to too many conclusions and panicking and stuff like that. And again, it leads to a sequence of events where I'm just like, yeah, you ever watch those videos on YouTube of compilations and it's like people like getting injured as a result of their own stupid actions? And
Yeah.
the first thought in your head is typically, you deserved that.
Yeah,
That's me with her.
yeah. It's like, yes, quarantine. Like, that should be the first fucking immediate decision.
Yeah, but and oh my god, because okay, so the rest of the scene is just them like some like
Yeah,
creepy music, and they're running to the ship. They get to the ship and they bring the security guy into the what's it called, the med
the
bay.
maybe.
And the engineer ship pilot woman, she's like putting on gloves. She's getting ready to help get
Oh yeah.
the guy.
Oh no, sorry. I do love how the level of caution. She is putting on her own gloves. She is gingerly, like, she sees the guy vomit up blood. Now at this point they dropped his bags. She is horrified. She's keeping her distance. She gingerly picks up the equipment. She is holding the equipment out and away from her body.
She doesn't even bring them on board. She just drops them on the ramp and goes in.
Yeah, she drops them on the ramp, and she then even stops to take off her, like, before she touches anything else, she is taking off her gloves.
Yeah.
Because
And
she's, at this point, she's like, oh my fucking god, I don't want to catch whatever clearly he has. Which I'm like, okay, you know what? Fair fucking play to her. But you know what also would have been a great fucking decision? Like, I don't know who designed this ship with their whole medbay type situation. And again, we don't know what the Nostromo was like anyway. But why is it that the medbays never seem to be designed without limitation of infection in mind? Like, okay, let me put it this way. So far, with all the ships that we've seen, you have to walk through parts of the ship with the said potential infected person before you can get into the med bay to quarantine yourself. You know? Like, why is it that none of these, like, exploration style vessels are designed with a way to bring someone on board, yes, but then also self-contain them and isolate the ship? Like, why is there not, like, an entryway that, you know, they have to step into, like in Prometheus? Like some of the scenes that we've seen with Prometheus, like the side entrances, like where after Shaw got blown away by the wind, they were in an entryway that was between two doors. Like, why do we not see more of that type of stuff? And why are the bed bays not built closer to whatever method you get onto board the ship? You're risking spreading whatever kind of contagion, like, that a person might have when you're taking them to the med bay. You see where I'm going with it? Like, it feels like a critical flaw in the design and layout of these ships. Am I crazy in saying this?
No, I kind of get it.
Like, you're risking, because, like, again, like, as we just went over, we're like a few years, about 2 years past COVID, and it was very quick to learn, like when it took us less than a year of COVID to learn, oh yeah, viruses can exist on the surface of objects. You know what I mean? So as you're bringing this person on with a potential unknown pathogen who's coughing and whatnot, that's the floor. That is whatever. And coughs can, newsflash people, coughs can travel the germs on a cough can travel a very long distance. So so basically, he coughs once in that room, boom, like, everything in that room is basically fucking contaminated at that point.
Yeah.
And you're carrying him. Again, I know it's a landing vessel, but the fact that it's built in with a med bay, like, oh my fucking god! Clearly, it's designed with the idea that it could land on, you know, foreign unknown planets. But yeah, no. She before she touches her headphones to talk to her husband and the people on the ship, she takes off her gloves and tosses them down the ramp, because again, I will say, this is a smart thing she's doing. She's like, I am not taking any fucking chances. I do not want to be contaminated. So fair fucking play to her.
Yeah. And basically, yes, as you said, like, she goes to contact the husband and the rest of the ship. She's in a bit of a panicky state. They don't get much out of her. She then rushes off to go and help, and she's in there for like 5 seconds after putting the gloves on. Your man's back, like, the spikes come out. Well, not the spikes don't come out, but, like, there's blood spurts out onto her face, and she's immediately like, yeah, I'm just going to go and do something. I'll be right back. And she locks the door behind her.
She enacts the quarantine. And I'm like, okay, love,
But you've already got blood on your face, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you should have enacted the quarantine as soon as they got in.
And it's not just that, it's just like, because then she's like, oh no, I'm sorry, the quarantine, and you've got blood in your face, and shut the fuck up and just open the damn door, and then you can figure it out afterwards. Yeah. But like it's one of those things where, like, Because then she runs off to go and get a shotgun. Then, meanwhile, the backburster came out, and what again? We've
Oh
already
yeah,
said,
yeah,
great
she, yeah.
visual.
Like I said, she is freaking the fuck out. She's like, she's telling Ken, I need you and all that.
Yeah.
Things coughing up blood and and all that.
Yeah, she's telling the captain and the others to get here, and they still have not run, despite the fact they know it's
they're walking. Now I feel like they are limited in their movement because of your other man that they're carrying. So fair enough. I will actually give them a semi pass, but they're not even rushing. It is
no, they're not. It's even the captain doesn't even sound that concerned. He's like, "Oh yeah, we're almost there."
Yeah, I will say like you have a sick man yourself. You should be rushing because clearly he caught some on this planet, and therefore every second that you're like, yeah, you guys are not showing any symptoms yet, but every second you're on that fucking planet breathing in that air is clearly another opportunity for whatever got into him to get into fucking you. Why the fuck aren't you rushing back? Like, yeah, rush and carry him. Also, actually, sorry, you have fucking Walter, and we know since are stronger than fucking humans. So why is Walter not just fucking fireman carrying this fucking sick bastard? And sorry, even if synths are not that much stronger than humans, it's Michael Fassbender. Everyone knows he's clearly a strong man. You know what I mean? Like you're right. They are leisurely going back to the ship. But yeah, so she's freaking out. Tennessee sees that. Yeah, Tennessee is seeing his wife, freaking out, looking terrified.
Well, he doesn't say anything because they lose contact then.
Oh no, but he does see her briefly. It is cutting in and out, like it's very laggy. We're talking we're talking fucking MSN Messenger live chat.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, no, the backburster kind of comes out.
Yeah.
And you're one in what I can only describe as a Looney Tunes scene.
Mm. Oh yeah, by the way, she doesn't have the shotgun yet, so she runs back after talking to the to her husband and the captain. But no, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, you're back with your woman and the guy. The backburster comes out and she runs over to the other side of the room, slips on a banana peel, which is blood, and then grabs a knife, and she's getting gored by the fucking thing. The one thing I do want to bring up, she hugs the man who is clearly having some level of weird fucking... A man who vomited up blood.
I don't know what she was thinking.
And who had blood spread out of his spine. She fucking embraces the man. And now again, we don't know the relationship they had, but we know her husband is the captain, so unless she's cheating on him, it's not a romantic relationship.
Honestly, I don't think we need to dwell. It's literally just I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to hug you and hope it comforts you, kind of thing. Like everything is going to be okay. That's how I took it. I don't think it's.
No. I'm not saying like she was cheating.
Okay.
But my point is, it's a very weird hug moment. Like
I know. I just thought. Okay.
Like it's weird, and yeah, and then she tries to, after she gets her hand stung by the initial spines of the chest burster popping out. I'm trying, for some reason my thing is not working correctly. It keeps lagging and whatnot. I think it does not like the fact that I'm constantly rewinding and whatnot, but it's streaming, so I shouldn't have that issue. But yeah, she is freaking the fuck out because the thing is now come out, and yeah, you're right, there is some kind of like sac that like placenta or whatever that came out with it. But yeah, she slips on the fucking blood, which, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really have that much of a problem with, because like she's focused on the whatever strange fucking shit that's going on in front of her. She's not paying attention to where she's stepping.
I just wasn't aware that blood was that slippery.
It can't. Well, in large quantities, it could be.
Oh, fair enough. But yeah,
it's like that. There's a law.
Yeah. So basically, the long and short of it is she gets gored by the new baby alien, the Balian. You're one that fucked off.
Trademark.
Yeah, the Balian. It's Bail Organa, but he bursts out of a chest. Bail! But anyway, so yeah, the woman that fucked off came back. She's got the shotgun. You know, she's opening the door.
Now the other crew's running.
Yeah. So she comes back and she gets ready to aim, and she slips on the blood and shoots the ceiling.
But the other thing is, she first opens the fucking door. We don't know how strong this thing is. For all intents and purposes, you should assume it is like. Obviously, her first educated guess should be it is secured in that room. So why? And also, the only glass viewpoint of that med bay is that small, tiny glass or whatever material it is. Maybe it's probably reinforced glass. So
yeah. But do you know what I love about the whole thing as well? Is she slips on the blood, shoots the ceiling, and the alien is now made aware of her presence. The alien doesn't really attack straight away, so she had like 2 business days to pick back up that shotgun and re-aim it. But instead
it looks at her and then immediately jumps off of her and then starts heading towards it. But for some reason, it seems to just magically, if you blink and you'll miss it, it jumps off your lady and starts moving towards her. But it does look like it starts itself slipping on the blood. That's my only explanation of why it did not get to her as quickly as your other woman. Because now blood is fucking everywhere at this point. But my point is why it was stupid for her to get into the room. Because again, you have that fine glass, that small glass thing. So what she could have fucking done was keep the door closed and have the shotgun pointing at that one vulnerable position out of the med bay. Keep that thing. Keep your fucking shotgun squared on that. And if it attempted to fucking... Because again, we do see later on, these things are not as sturdy as xenomorphs. One shotgun to the face. That thing, it does eventually headbutt the glass and does start cracking. So it is strong. So it will eventually break out. But one solid shotgun to the fucking face would have been done.
Yeah.
But no. She opens the fucking door, goes in, does not pay again. Okay, some freaky is going on in front of her, but she does so she does go in too close. And also, with a shotgun, you don't really. I know it's a close range weapon, but you don't have to get that close with it. She was at a perfectly fine fucking distance with that shotgun, and yet, and then she slips on the blood, and then things ensues. She runs off.
And she gets her ankle crushed by the door because, for fuck's sake, she crawls about as well as she fucking shoots. But yeah, and then she decides in her infinite wisdom to not only obstruct her view when she's aiming the shotgun by standing behind a net that clearly makes it hard for her to see where the enemy is, she starts shooting randomly in the ship. And shooting.
She's shooting where the creature is, not where
I
it's going
to
be.
But you know what I mean? Like, she's just shooting where the creature is and
not caring about what could be in the path of that. Especially, she then hits fuel tanks
and blows up the whole ship. And I've just been like, honestly, you were just an idiot. You were just dumb.
Yeah.
And I'm not sorry.
Like, she did have her own smart moments. Like, again, she was trying her hardest to not compromise herself.
Yeah.
But
and I know people say, oh, but the panicking and stuff like that. Of course, when you're panicking, yeah. You're still not that stupid.
Yeah, opening the door, once she opened the door of the med bay, for me, that's it. Okay, you deserve to die. You again, like I said, because you could have just
waited for the others.
Yeah, you keep the door closed. Also, the thing was busy with your woman, so who knows how long it would have shredded her before it even attempted to break out of the glass.
Yeah. And even then, because of course it does grow up into the big form and they grow fast. But I'm just thinking again, by that point they'll have strength in numbers with firepower.
Yeah, and
and
again,
it'll
like
be bottlenecked.
yeah, from that again, like yeah, because that's a very narrow hallway. So yeah, again, it's just like, and again, a solid shotgun. Like again, even if it was in a small form and it did eventually, start attacking the glass, a shotgun to the fucking face would have finished it. Because like, and then we have the throat burster. Oh boy, I am curious about what was different about those spores and the other spore, because this one seems to like, oh wait, no, it does have limbs. Okay, yeah, so it does have limbs. I thought it's snaked off like the other thing. And again,
Oh, and also, actually, I did want to, because I remember, now that we're actually talking about the actual aliens now that they're actually in play, I forgot to mention, remember I said I had an issue in terms of the CGI with them.
yeah.
So when I was rewatching the film, there's something very clunky, particularly in regards to the frame rate with the aliens and how they move. I don't know how to explain it. It's just... I don't know whether it was maybe they just had some low budget when it came to animating their movements, but there's just something very unnatural in the word in a bad way. If you get me, I know they're aliens; they're not supposed to move naturally, but in this way, it feels very video gamey. I don't know how else to explain it.
Hold on, let me bring up this thing again on my end, and I'll rewind and take a look at it myself.
Yeah.
All right. So let me see how this one moves. Like
it feels like it feels like okay. I think I know how to explain it. No, I don't know. I don't know how to put it into words. It feels a bit choppy in some elements of how it moves.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I saw it there. I saw a moment there where it seems like its hind. I don't know if it's its hind legs or its front leg. Sorry, its arms. There's this like weird wide arc it seems to do when it's running.
Not even just in terms of how it runs. I'm just saying in general, it just feels very choppy in terms of like whatever method they use to animate it. Just feels like okay. It feels like an old. It feels like how would I describe it? Oh, okay. So you know how like there used to be those apps where you could launch a missile. Like it uses your camera and it launches a missile like at your you could at your family member or something like that.
Oh, the augmented reality.
Kind of. Apps. It feels like that where you can tell it's not there.
Yeah.
Like it's very clearly just not there. And that's how this felt.
Yeah. Like it feels like they didn't do what like for example Star Wars. Like Star Wars, they always had like a ball or something physical. Like to interact with the people physically for the sake of it. Like again, like with Jar Jar Binks, like yeah, they CGI'd him, but they actually had an actual person there to.
And I know how to explain it. It doesn't feel like there's any depth to it. It feels like it wasn't layered correctly into the image. That's it. That's how I would describe it. Yeah. So yeah, basically, because like with Jar Jar, like there is CGI character, but there's very clearly depth to him. You can kind of believe he is there.
Yeah. Like the way whenever there's any physical contact between him and the others, you can sort of like because there is an actual person underneath the layer. It's way more believable when he interacts with the environment.
Yeah, like if you look behind the scenes, like Ahmed Best was actually there. He was wearing a costume. He had the head. He had like a weird hat on, and then they just CGI'd over him. So
they did the same thing for like their scenery stuff. Like they did like with Venice for all the scenes in Naboo. They went to Venice and they filmed there, and all they did then was they recorded they would record a scene, but then they would do some editing to make the statues and whatnot bigger. Because again, like with Star Wars, they wanted to make it feel much grandeur, like but because there were actual physical buildings there, you could believe, like, okay, yeah, they only selected certain things to enlarge.
Yeah, but with this, it feels like whatever method, whether it be the layering or the depth of the animation, it feels like it's very poorly superimposed onto the screen in some aspects.
Another great example from Phantom Menace of layering, the scene like the scenes of inside like when the ship when the ambassador ship blew up in the opening scene, that was just a figurine. Like it was really cool. Like they got a figurine, and they just like did somehow edited the explosion in the lids. Like they blew up from the inside, like with a firecracker or something.
Oh yeah, that's the
Yeah,
beauty of miniatures, dude.
yeah, yeah,
Beauty of miniatures.
yeah. And again, like like I understand people like say like there was way too much CGI in like Phantom Menace. If you actually look at like what they did behind the scenes, there actually wasn't that much CGI compared to like other
Yeah.
things like
Like I think the only really CGI heavy things within the prequels that I can think
Space
of
Battle
are
and the pod race.
Space Battles Pod Race, Mustafar, the Senate building, the droid factory, obviously.
No, yeah.
Was nothing but
Funny
blue
enough,
screen.
even with the pod race, did you know like the arena, like when you saw like the stands for like where the people were, the zoomed out shots when you're like like the establishment shot, that was they actually had a little figurine. They were figurines.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when
Um,
it was again like again like I will say Lucasfilm has always done a great job of blending that like
yeah.
special effect, sorry, CGI with practical shit like
Yeah. Even the sets, like it's practical sets mixed with green screen and blue screen, which is no different than what Marvel and DC does.
yeah,
So
and that's why like they tend to be really good. Whereas this, it feels like the throat burster and the back burster, they do feel 100% CGI.
well, no,
Oh,
the throat burster was very clearly a practical effect.
oh, was it?
Yeah, it was an actual legitimate practical effect, which is why it's probably of the two of them. Like I do like the backburster as
The
well.
way
Don't
the
get me
way it
wrong.
ran, it felt like pure CGI to me.
Oh, when it's running away, obviously it is. But I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
like in terms of like the thing coming out of his throat or something like that, that was a
Oh,
practical
okay,
effect.
okay. That bit,
That was
okay. So that bit I do like. It's when it was running that I was like, there's not even a tennis ball there.
Oh wait, I think I know what it reminds me of. Okay, and to the viewers listening, and this will be for you as well. Bit of homework after the stream. Look up the assembly cut of Alien 3 and look at the that version of the chest burster scene because it's meant to be the director's cut, but they call it the assembly cut. We talked about it before, but because yeah, in the assembly cut, it comes out of like the carcass of a bull or something like that, or an ox.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember you. Yeah, you mentioned it.
Yeah. But you actually see the alien run off, and look at how the baby alien in Alien 3 runs off in the assembly cutscene. That's what it reminds me of in Alien Covenant. Actually, that's exactly it. The choppy frame rate and stuff like that. It feels like a very bad blue
Which
screen.
which it really shouldn't, considering how much the year difference between these movies.
Yeah, I think most of the budget probably went to
The casting.
probably, which is weird because like one of my favorite shots in the film actually is when the Covenant is approaching the planet. Like it's again something I love about Alien. It's that kind of I don't know how what other way to put it other than this almost galactic.
It does make you feel like your
minuscule.
space. Yeah, yeah. It does make you feel like the scope of the universe. And again, that's what
Yeah.
I feel like the establishment of hypersleeping, it really does help. That like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, you need unfortunately their ships take so long to get from point A to point B. We need to slow the aging by basically putting you into essentially cryostasis, and yeah, like, and you're gonna be in that state for years.
Yeah, and so yeah. So I will say, in terms of like the ship orbiting the planet and approaching the planet and all that kind of stuff, like the effects are pretty good. But like when it comes to the actual aliens, it feels like they cut corners.
And all right, folks, we're gonna wrap this up by talking about the next scene, and then that'll be it for part one. So basically, boat creatures come back and they start slaughtering the
Other members of the team,
the expedition.
Oh yeah, because their dropship blew up.
Yeah.
It didn't kill the alien; it survived, and the two of them were running out
So
there.
basically, now they do. Now time does go by long enough because like it is now pitch dark. So like, in all fairness, Yeah, you can't really actually no. If there's no, it's a big field. I'm trying to think, and there's a lake, so that means that does limit its approach options. So yeah, actually, yeah, no, staying where they were is actually vaguely the best choice.
Mm.
Because if they go deeper into the plains, the grass is going to get taller, and then if they go too close to the forest, it has then the trees and the branches. So yeah, unfortunately, they are actually in their best position. Also, if the Covenant was to send a rescue ship, it would probably go to where the last ship was,
Yeah.
located. So okay,
I
yeah,
think
so
though I think they do establish they don't have any other means later on in the film, but we'll get to that in the
yeah.
next video.
But either way,
But yeah, so
the point is, there's a reason why they clearly stay there for a couple of hours for the sun to go down as dark as it is.
I don't even think it's a couple of hours. I think it's they're still because the ship blows up.
Yeah,
Your one, what's her name?
but
Daniels
but the
tells
sun's still up
Captain.
when it happens.
It is getting dark. I don't know. I think it's just a continuity error. I think at this point because I do know a storm comes along and then when they get to the big
Yeah, but
Colosseum
dude, but it goes from sun is sort of setting to it is pitch fucking
No, that's what I mean
dark.
because the way they act, it doesn't feel like any time has gone by. Like it feels like the ship they've just seen the ship blow up. They're getting their bearings again. And again, I'm not disagreeing with that. I think it's dark now, but I just think they forgot in terms of continuity because they don't act like they've been sitting there for a while. They
Okay,
act like it's
so
the
yeah,
next
so
scene.
they were like, okay, well, I suppose see this is a situation where clearly there was not a lot of care put in because like in other movies they'd be like, okay, we'll stop filming now, and we'll pick it up, the next day. Whereas
Yeah,
someone clearly was like, no, continue filming. Um,
yeah.
but anyway,
It's
so
it.
it becomes pitch black. The aliens start coming in and attacking the last, the expedition team. Everyone has their guns. Your man's like, "I'll always be with you." The light of my life. Like he's clearly grieving for the loss. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
and Loeb is the survivor. Yeah,
yeah. Lucifer. But yeah, the aliens start attacking. I think one of them dives towards Daniels, and Walters punches it through the mouth.
yeah, and sacrificing his arm.
Yeah, it doesn't kill it. I don't think he kills it.
Yeah, hold on. Well, he doesn't punch it through its arm. It bites his arm.
Oh yeah, bites his arm off, and it's clearly like I'm guessing its saliva is acidic as well
Yeah,
because like it's a scorch mark.
which
Um,
is new.
yeah,
Which
yeah,
again brings us to our point. So okay, so far, reproduction wise, this variant is superior than to the
yep,
normal xenomorph. Having acid saliva, I would say that is superior.
yep,
I have to say having okay, yeah, acid blood is a great defense for the face hugger, but for a xenomorph, okay, I suppose yeah, range attacks are not a fucking or natural normal defense mechanism.
I mean, we
So
do know that later down the line they have the capacity to
spit,
spit acid.
yes,
But
you're
yeah,
correct, sir. So okay, so we don't know yet if they currently have acid blood. Um, but
but yeah, he's just
yeah, either way,
his
this thing having saliva for acid is still a pretty superior thing. Its tail is a lot more whip. Like we see it literally tear a man's jaw off.
yes,
Upon
which again another good use of practical effect.
oh yeah, um, it seems to be it's taken some hits actually. So you're right. It does have a lot of a fair bit of durability, not as much as the pure xenomorph.
Yeah, and credit where it's due, they don't have the pulse rifles yet. So
Oh yeah, yeah. And also, yeah, they're not colonial marines, which like our characters in fire team. I'm taking things down with one shotgun hit, but again, my character's a colonial marine at this point, and also they are aware that xenomorphs exist, so therefore they will obviously be prepped for that type of shit.
yeah, yeah. So I can kind of forgive the weapons not being that effective to a degree.
Yeah,
Um, because again, they don't have the pulse rifles with the tip caseless, whatever the fuck
Yeah,
Borman says they
but
were.
yeah. So they managed to kill one, but the other fucking gets the fuck out
Wait,
of done.
did they actually kill one?
I think yeah, there was two, and then because like only one shows back up later,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
because I know, or yeah, the captain kills one later on with David, but yeah, I don't know if we ever see what happened to the other one. I think it just
Oh,
fucked off.
okay then. Well, either
I
way,
think, yeah.
either, but there's a lot of white blood splaying all over the place,
Yeah, and
which was their blood. I did look closer to the thing. It was like it was when it was surrounded by all the them shooting at it, and it was white blood coming out. So,
yeah,
and there was no worry of the blood hitting them. So, it doesn't appear that the blood might be acidic. Because I feel like if it was, that would have been the best scene to demonstrate that its blood was acidic.
yeah. I think the only time we see the acid blood is with the facehugger and I think they call it a protomorph in terms of like behind the scenes later on. So yeah, this
So
is
like okay, so round goes to modern our xenomorph. Well, sorry, the true xenomorph.
for acid blood. Yeah,
Yeah, because I will say that is a better defense over saliva. So this again, like hunting
yeah.
wise, it is superior. Also, the back bursters did not have the second jawline, which can strike with such force it can just shatter skull.
Yeah, no, their jaw just kind of sticks out, comes out from this tiny hole that is their mouth.
Yeah, so Vantage, Xenomorph. So again, I do like how there is definitely differences. You can see the evolution. Again, I just wish they would have given us like again as a series. I feel like it would have been better as a full fucking episode, getting like proper like comparisons, like getting like step by step like how it evolved to be what it was and why certain traits were selected.
Mm.
Because I'm wondering why would he drop the very rapid reproduction? Now, typically, though, creatures that have high reproduction rates tend to have lower lifespans. So again, maybe it was something he wanted something that would last longer. He, basically going for quality over quantity. You know,
Yeah,
but then again, xenomorphs do have a no. Xenomorphs actually really don't have. They have a high egg laying rate with queens, but not a high birth rate. If because
yeah,
you
because
know what I
it's
mean.
very
'Cause
it's dependent on a host. Yeah,
yeah. Whereas these spores seem to, I don't know, because these spores require the same thing.
welcome to the inconsistency
Yeah,
that is the writing of this film.
yeah. They really do. We really needed a fucking explanation. Like that, you know what? That could have even made a fucking. That could have been a promotional thing after the movie came out into the cinemas. Like to promote it while it was in the cinema.
Pretty much.
No, that'd be too much of a spoiler if he was to have it like a short like YouTube video, like as Dave. No, actually, I don't care. That would actually be fucking cool, even if it came out after the movie. That would.
I think that actually might have been something they did in the DVD extras. Actually,
Yeah,
I
that would
vaguely
be
recall.
that would
I
have been a
vaguely
cool.
recall them doing that.
That
Yeah.
would have been a cool fucking extra. Have basically a semi have David talk to us as if he's teaching a biology lesson.
That's what I mean. I think they did do something like that for the DVD extras. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I think they genuinely did. I just can't. I'll check later on. And
Yeah.
reconfirm it in the next video.
But anyway,
It
we
sounds
are
familiar.
yeah we're over the mark. But anyway, I'm just saying, folks. I would love to hear David's logic for the traits that he bred into what would become his variation of the xenomorph, and what he decided, like why he decided to breed some parts out. Because again, we do get the explanation that he did, crossbreed and whatnot to get his ideal xenomorph result.
And
What he
and speak
considered now I will say, folks, he says it is the perfect organism. Like so, from
later
his
down
point
the
of,
line, he uses the exact words, the
Yeah.
perfect organism.
so again, I'm curious about why is it perfect from his point of view.
And we will never know.
Yeah,
And on that subject, on that point, because speak of the devil, David arrives to save them.
yeah. But yeah, we're going to end it there because we're pretty much at the halfway point, which is great to stop at part one. We did go a bit over time with these final notes.
To be fair, again, that's because just so little happens in the first half of this movie. It is just walking, talking, and then the backbursters.
And bad decisions. Like folks,
so many bad decisions.
folks, I need to clarify. We're an hour. Okay, on my thing, we're an hour into the movie, right? Again, folks, I just remind you, I play the movies in the background as we're doing. Yeah, I had some issues. Yes, I paused it when I was talking about a specific scene, and yes, I do rewind and fast forward when I'm getting to very specific scenes. But the fact that for an hour of this movie, we have spent 2.5 hours pointing out so many fucking flaws, like genuinely, and we had very little tangents this time, which is surprising for us.
Yeah, like this time, all of our tangents were just about the movie.
Yeah, and so you again, like in defense of our in the length of the other ones, like again, like with Cinema Sins, like yeah, I know they wrap it up very quickly. Every minute sin, even mind you, that's more for humor, whereas we're doing proper fucking big critique. Now, mind you, sometimes
as much as I do,
sorry,
Simpsons, I wouldn't.
Sorry, in one defense of Simpsons, sometimes they do have legitimate criticisms.
Yeah, and then other times they pull criticisms that don't exist out of their arses. But that's
Again, their whole point of their channel is just for entertainment.
True.
They're nitpicking for entertainment.
True. The downside is some people do mistake that for legitimate.
Whereas technically we are we're pointing out flaws for entertainment, but like in all fairness, they are genuine flaws.
They're objective flaws. They are like objective issues with the writing,
and
it's
typically by this point in the movie, because keep on, folks, we normally don't end at the halfway point of the movie we're talking about. The fact that we are is a very bad fucking sign for this movie.
Yeah. I think, this has been honestly the worst one so far.
Yeah.
Because unlike the others, well, yes, they all had better writing. This one is just dull.
Yeah.
It's a nothing burger of a movie.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, there as we said, there are some good moments in it, and again, like I've been a staunch defender for Prometheus and kind of like in terms of like, hey, give them their fair shot. But like, again, even I am like, yeah, nope.
Because even the things we're praising are primarily superficial. Like they have nothing to do with the overall like quality of the writing. Or something. It's just
like we're praising we're praising the actors. We're praising I love the chest. Like again, like it's impractical effects because like as you said, the difficulty of doing the back one. But like I love the emergence of these like proto xenomorphs. Their emergence like from the back and from the throat are fucking brilliant. I fucking love them. But so far in the first hour, like besides from set design, besides from performance of the actors, like they're the only things I've really properly praised in terms of the story, and annoyingly, the whole point of this prequels were to explain the xenomorphs, and yet again, because I've repeatedly throughout this video, I've laid out how they really should fucking do it, which is in now maybe they will do it with Alien Earth. I highly fucking doubt it.
See, I'm of the impression they shouldn't explain anything.
Oh yeah, no.
I will always be on that.
Oh no, fair enough. No, but in terms of at least David's variation, because like, it is now canon that his xenomorphs are different than the true xenomorphs. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with there being two, like, again, to me, it makes me think of, like, in Kingdom Hearts, how you have Heartless, but then you have the artificial Heartless. And the way you tell them apart is the artificial Heartless have, like, an emblem engraved somewhere on their body. Yes. And then true Heartless don't have anything on their bodies. as per Ansem's notes, if you bother to collect them throughout the game. I'm okay. So I'm okay with again having David's and then having what is connected to that eldritch horror that is the xenomorph, the Lady in the Dark. To not use the xenomorph goddess term because I'm not a fan of it. And also, the Lady in the Dark does sound a lot more eldritch. Like, it's not even a name, it's just a title. You know? A description. Like, I don't want to see an evolutionary chart of that, of those. But I want one from David's. Because, again, the way he talks about, like, again, like the perfect organism. Why? Why is because again, as we point out, there are very clear superior traits that from these previous organisms, and yet he considered those failures, and yet what he ends up with, what was supposed to be the true xenomorph, being the perfect organism, and I am curious to hear his logic behind it.
Yeah.
So if they were to do it, so if these were not done as movies but as a show, I would have loved to have one episode of 40 minutes of nothing but David explaining his selection process of like what was superior and what wasn't, and what was like what traits were chosen to be bred into thing. Again, I really do think it had like the lifespan must have been a key factor. Considering like there was a bit like that has been a bit of an hot topic for him throughout the two movies, like the fact that he will not age and humans will. So I feel like overall longevity is a key factor. So again, maybe it's possible that the other xenomorphs, like again these spore ones that we saw, are they can reproduce very easily and very efficiently because they start off as tiny little spores that invade the body, but they are short lived. Once they come out, like they very rapidly grow, but then eventually they burn out, like they die of old age type of thing. And then the true one, even though the facehugger is less efficient, the final result is a creature that, as we know, will just be in fucking stasis for fucking hundreds of years. Which mimics what we get from the true xenomorphs. Because as we know from Alien 1 and Alien Romulus, those eggs have been there for fucking centuries. And they were still active. And as we know from Romulus, a single xenomorph floating in space was out there for a fucking long time. So, again, maybe he's going for overall lifespan as opposed to efficiency in terms of breeding. That's my logic behind why he would consider some failures and some others.
Yeah.
Again, my point is, I would have loved to hear him go on about his experiments, but we didn't get it.
No.
It's like the movie teased me. It's like, oh, alright. Video's getting a bit too long now, but yeah, folks, it's a very bad sign. We will finish this up another time. It's a hell of a movie. The next time I'm doing this movie, I'm making sure I have fucking Doritos and salsa just to make it a bit more enjoyable. I'm the Celtic Nerd.
I've been a very, 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 very tired skullduggery for this. God, fuck this movie.
Oh yeah, it is easily on the bottom of my list.
I don't think I'm gonna put it on the list. I'm just gonna block it from my memory. Like this is. I'm not gonna lie. This is like sequel territory for me into like the Star Wars. Like I'm just blocking it from my memory.
Okay, well, anyway, one name,
one sky.